Erica LORRAINE Spencer here. This is the P.O.C, Pattern of Conduct, real-time documentation of the state of California's criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking in concert with the people of the state of California in violation of existing federal law, that is 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsection 1 and subsection 2. This is ongoing documentation that is specifically gathered following my release from kidnapping by this entity that was ceaselessly monitoring in violation of 18 U.S.C. and in violation of Title 15 and in violation of the Prison Rape Elimination Act, as I was subject to the same exact criminal pattern of conduct while kidnapped by this entity seeking to conceal this criminal system that I am documenting and publishing and exposing on the venue of the internet, where I am also subject to the criminal pattern of conduct, and understand that kidnapping is the pattern of conduct that is criminal obstruction of justice, as the entity seeks to avoid prosecution and to avoid documentation and exposure for engaging in this criminal system. The people of the state are the vicarious aspect of the entity. They are engaging in federal stalking as I am kidnapped by the state inside of the state facilities, all right? And they are fully engaging in kidnapping upon criminal summoning. So this is the this is the entity from beginning to the end engaging in the criminal acts of the federal stalking and the acts of criminal obstruction of justice. This is also documentation on the venue of the internet engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct via obstruction of justice, and this is in any way reducing or removing the ability to publish the ongoing documentation of the state's criminal pattern of conduct, which is waging an ongoing threat to my life as I remain subject to this criminal system. And this is the criminal pattern of conduct on the venue of the internet, okay? And that is the totality of what I have documented since release. I was kidnapped from June 18, 2021 from third-party facilitating venue of the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, where the Ontario Police Department were monitoring, and this in conformity to the ongoing wealth of documentation that I have already published, specifically revealing the Ontario Police Department engaging in monitoring and kidnapping, which was via the assertion of a fictitious warrant pursuant to a fictitious prosecution. That is the people of the state of California v. Erica LORRAINE Spencer, case number Mary Wendy Victor 2000640. I was subject to kidnapping pursuant to this fictitious prosecution, documentation on the facility cameras everywhere that I was inside of the facility of West Valley, located at 9700 Etiwana Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, California, and at the state facilitating venue of the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, located at 8303 Haven Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, and I was subject to federal stalking ceaselessly at the jail, at the courthouse, in the courtrooms, okay? The same exact pattern of conduct ceaselessly underway. The kidnapping serves obstruction of justice, and that this is kidnapping that I endured from June 18th, 2021 up until August 16th, 2021. This is the P.O.C. All right, Erica LORRAINE Spencer here. This is the P.O.C. It's Saturday, September 4th, 2021, and I was in transit from third-party facilitating venue where monitoring was underway, as I documented and as I continue to document, at 630 North Fern Avenue, which is the people of the state monitoring in their private residences, as the exact same criminal activity by the state is ongoing, the exact same directed light, including that hallmark of the state stalking by helicopter and airplane, which I also documented last night again. And this is long established. This is documentation that I published in 2019 and 2020 when I was sleeping both in my vehicle on North Vine, on Vine and Vine Avenue and G Street. And the address that I published that under is the address of 714 North Vine, and the intersection of Fern and G Street, which is 630 North Fern. So I want to document group stalkers that are patrolling around the library right now in the state's fake sun, which is at 7:30 a.m. over here beside the library. And again, I captured as I exit the library yesterday evening, which is what I was stressing. That's third party stalker. So you can hear him. That's monitoring. This is a Latino male wearing a white shirt, blue cap, blue tennis shoes, and blue jeans. And he's in the state's directed light. And then you have another group stalker that's walking with a dog. This is the group stalking conduct. They're maintaining presence while at this time of the hour, really nobody's over here, but the state's light source is present. The state is hovering over in planes as I'm dropped off at this area. So this is the state that is present. And again, as I go from 630 North Fern Avenue to what is Stater Brothers at 646 West Holt Boulevard, the state's fake sun goes from being at the intersection of G Street and Euclid, right there, and the state and the third party that's driving, which is Tracy Banks, she drives to that venue, and the state is keeping its fake sun in alignment. So that is migration east to be over the parking lot of Stater Brothers, and then remaining over the in alignment to me while I'm in the vehicle as she drives back east toward what is the library. And this is the fake sun that is here at the side of the library. It's 7:33 a.m. And I want to admit that that's the ongoing documentation that I've already shown that the state is engaged. All right, I captured a video showing what is the presence of the state sun, and and that is speaking to light activity. So you have the city of Ontario that's in relevant position at Metro 102 Apartments, proceeding north on Lemon, and turning what is west onto B Street in relevant position. They use those dumpster trucks as light activity and audible activity, which I've shown also inside of Economy Inn, for example, where the state is creating the sound of dumpster trucks and crashing dumpsters, and they were not even emptying the trash yet. I captured on video where you see them literally empty the trash, but the state created that artificial activity, which was amplified inside of that room of Economy Inn before they were actually engaged in that activity of emptying the garbage, which again, you're not going to hear inside of the hotel room, but this is the state's amplification, and this is how the people act with the state. They are providing the guys, but there is no guys. They're engaging in ongoing demonic conduct, maintaining what is an atmosphere for monitoring, but it's a demonic atmosphere. And that is the city of Ontario in relevant position under the fake sun. So what I want to speak to is I just want to make sure as I go from 630 North Fern and I go to 646 West Holt, Stater Brothers, I am subject to monitoring. Tracy Banks is sitting in relevant position. She's monitoring. She's engaged in the sexual violence of P.O.C. This is a third party whose name I know. The fake sun is literally hovering over the vehicle in that parking lot and keeping in alignment as I'm exiting. That's the venue where the state's fake sun is captured literally at all times of the day. Not only early in the morning, which it was again, in the afternoon, I'm showing how the state's fake sun is literally over my head. As I walk around in the parking lot, it's in real-time movement. And in the evening, the state has done the same thing. The state's light source is then also setting, and light is aiming on that same exact parking lot, even under the shaded cover of the shaded walkway of that entrance, which is absolutely ridiculously impossible. Light activity, I have captured that inside of that venue. Okay, so that is P.O.C., and that's where the state's fake sun was, because she drove me from 630 North Fern to 646 West Holt, Stater Brothers, the state's fake sun keeping in alignment, and the state even engaging in sounding sirens as I'm sitting on camera at the intersection of Holt and Euclid, and you'll see the state drives by in a state vehicle heading west on Holt Boulevard, sounding sirens under the state's fake sun, and that is at approximately 7:27 a.m., while the state's fake sun has then moved from Stater Brothers, so it has proceeded east to remain in front of the vehicle, in the windshield of the vehicle that I am being driven in by Tracy Banks, and then moves to be right here at the side of the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library, where again it was captured after 6 p.m. yesterday, aiming light in the same direction. It's on the side of the library. Yesterday evening, it's aiming light underneath the walkway of the same side of the library, and it is in front of this building as of 7:30 a.m. It's literally on the side, just like I described yesterday, and just like I captured yesterday. So I want to make sure that I speak to that ongoing like conduct that I have vividly documented already. This is speaking to the ongoing stalking conduct by the state. And the state, it's almost as though the state actually wants attention. I have thoroughly documented it and it's already established. I'm speaking to that which is an ongoing criminal pattern of conduct while I was subject to it in Tracy Banks's car, license plate 4WON432. And she is an egregious actor. This is a third party that you know engaging in this. And it's not just that she knows, it's that I'm unfortunately related to her. The malice does not get any more egregious than that. That is a psychopath, okay? And that is a picture of those that are engaging in this demonic system as an entity together, okay? This is demonic that I'm revealing. This is how you have someone engaging in this criminal activity, which exceeds monitoring with communication devices, all right? This is a demon-possessed actor that I'm documenting by the name of Tracy Banks, engaging in this criminal activity against one who is her own flesh and blood. I am unfortunately related to her by being, I mean, you would call it technically being her daughter because she bore me, but that has nothing to do with what is demon possession and criminal activity, which she is engaged in and unapologetically engaged in. The state remaining over her vehicle and with fake son, engaging in repeated acts of criminal summoning and kidnapping with the state, and engaging in that ongoing harassment and terrorizing an American citizen while she is aware also that I'm documenting. That's the exact same psychopath, but this is even more concentrated because Tracy Banks is one whose name that I know. That speaks to the threat that the state wages as the targeted individual, literally, and this is speaking to the pattern of conduct. There is no exception. Right? And you do not have to know the name of the target individual, of the third parties that are monitored or state actors that are monitoring with the state. It's a group stalking system. It is the government's criminal pattern of conduct. And those whose name you know, they pose a most potent threat, acting and facilitating a government's ability to literally invade and monitor not just communication devices, but monitor the life, all right, seeking to terrorize an American citizen. And that's what Tracy Banks is engaged in. That's what she's been documented as. And that's what she engaged in again today. So you hear, well, as I arrived, the state covers this area. By cover, I mean fills it with airplane activity as I am dropped off at C Street in Euclid. And I just captured a video. You see the fake sun, and it remains stationary where I remain. If I walk toward, again, the museum where it is clearly captured at this time over the museum, in alignment to me, in other words, at the museum grounds, which is south of this location, which again, I've shown my documentation for hours remaining after 12 p.m. and it's clearly over there, not even in the direction of C Street because I'm not even aiming my phone in that direction. You have the state that is remaining over Euclid Avenue also, like I showed yesterday, this being on the side of the library and then being over the Ontario Town Square, which is exactly what it is. And this is why you have this light activity that coexists with the state stalking with its light source. That is the blatant stalking of the state. And this third party, Tracy Banks, the entity that is monitoring the documentation, this is speaking to the psychopath that is also aware of the fact that everything that they are doing it is fully exposed. It is not a secret. It has even been published on the internet, right? Fully subject to what is an impending prosecution, okay? But you're talking about what is a psychopath in need of being put out of the ability, taken from the ability to harm society. That's what Tracy Banks represents, all right? She needs to be in a straitjacket. The many ways in which she has engaged in defamation, seeking to engage in kidnapping with the state. And this is actually a psychopath who needs to be in a straitjacket. And that's the truth. That's the reality. And this is an ongoing effort to try to conceal what she's engaging in with the state. The Ontario Fire Department crossing path, going toward their state facilitating venue under the fake sun. That's at B Street. And right now they're at B Street and Lemon, crossing path under the fake sun while I'm speaking to what are psychopaths. That includes Tracy Banks. She's just a third party. The same third party's crossing path, acting with her. She's sitting by me in the car and she is acting against her own flesh and blood. That is a psychopath. That's a demented actor. And that's the reality based on her objective conduct, which is in no way that which is illusory. It has been established in the criminal pattern of conduct, and it is very unfortunate because she, as well as state actors, are going to federal prison. It is 7:42 a.m. and group stalkers are maintaining presence by just walking around in the state's fake sun. This is what they do, and this is my means of documenting that ongoing system as I have fully established it in video for you to see with your own eyes. And again, I just wanted to show it's 7:30 a.m. and you saw what is a stranger. That's a third party whose name I don't know. All he's doing is maintaining presence. The state stalking via sirens.
the state stalking via aircraft, the state stalking with its light source, and the state stalking vicariously through the people, okay? That audible activity is occurring under a fake sun, which is adjacent to the library, which remains over this library for an excess of 12 hours. That's how you know what the state is doing. Those are the same ones that engage in repeated acts of kidnapping, the abuse of what are emergency vehicles, and also, let me be clear, just like the state creates the sound of crashing dumpsters when the state actor, the city of Ontario, are not actually emptying the garbage while they're stalking in relevant position under the fake sun in directed light, which is what I showed at Economy Inn. The state also is present stalking in relevant position under the fake sun within directed light that I remain in, as the state also creates the artificial activity of sirens, okay? So you have what is the ongoing engagement in that system, which is revealing not only demonic activity, that is translated into what are psychopaths engaging in terrorism. And that's exactly how they're going to be prosecuted. And so this is on my podcast, I'm speaking to that ongoing maintenance of a fake sun and blatant, disregard of common sense and logic and nature altogether. All right. It's remaining for the duration of a day. Direct evidence against the Ontario Overfamily Community Library and every other venue. Okay. You're talking about remaining over here. How are you ever over the Ontario Police Department, for example? How are you the fake sun? How are you actually ever over the Mercy House located at 435 South Bonneview? I'll tell you how the state is literally just dragging its light source in any direction that I am and remaining in alignment to me for the duration of a day. All right. And that is directly demonstrated in my documentation. All right. And that is demonic activity. That's a demonic environment speaking to what are psychopaths engaging in criminal activity. All right. So let me get this license plate. This is 8TXN710. They are patrolling through the state's fake sun in the same way that Mexican or that Latino male, I don't know what nationality it is, but that Latino male that I clearly captured on video, he's walking around in the state's directed light. They are driving around in the state's directed, they're crossing path. And they're acting with the state that is sounding sirens and is sounding plane engines and is keeping its fake sun over this library. That is speaking to the targeting conduct of every single person because the environment exists and there is no form. And in this way, this is how you are able to go around and document every single person in any way that you can because you are subject to monitoring by an entity. Okay, license plate 2513. I'm sorry. And state's fake sun moving as I move. License plate 25331E3. It is 7:45 a.m. and that's P.O.C. I'm going to show you the state's fake sun that moved from that side where I am. I see, as you see in video, it's clearly cozy next to the side, above the side of the library, because that's where I'm at. As I move toward 280 North Lemon Apartments, just like I showed yesterday before I entered at 10:01 a.m., and it is clearly captured above that apartment building after remaining on the side of the building, okay, of the library. And then it remains after 6 p.m. right in front of the library, and you're also looking at what is directed light underneath the walkway of the library. And moving south. This is what I showed in video, okay? P.O.C. All right, so I did capture not only the state's fake sun moving in real time, the state flies over by airplane creating audible activity, as I point out that demonic feature of moving with its flight source, license plate 6EZB751, crossing path. And that is stalking in the same way that the state is stalking. That's the vicarious stalker. In the same way that the state is stalking with its light source and stalking with the state acting directly via fire department, via American Medical Response, AMR ambulance, and by the Ontario Police Department, including the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. I documented them as well, engaging in the P.O.C. In more than one way, but they do so in relevant position while I am not kidnapped by that department inside of the state facilitating venues of West Valley, Central Detention Center, and the Glen Helen Rehabilitation Center. So it is currently 7:48 p.m. I just want to make sure I give that understanding of the ongoing criminal system underway that has been thoroughly revealed, and I did capture 2 videos this morning so you can see with your own eyes. And this is where the state is patrolling via aircraft in the same way the state was patrolling, just like I captured, via helicopter over me at 630 North Fern Avenue. Where I go is where the state goes, all right? And this is fully established. This is ongoing documentation speaking to that ceaseless system, and that's going toward that prosecution of every third party and state actor, okay? 7:48 a.m., and that's P.O.C. at 215 East C Street, where the state's fake sun is remaining, and the state is aiming, and again, you're going to recall, because it's all documentation tethered together, the light activity that the state is creating inside of that venue, okay, which is also in contrast to common sense and nature, all right, and based on that long documentation that exists, especially as the state engages in altering what it's doing with light. Has nothing to do with the time of year, has nothing to do with the actual sun. This has to do with federal stalking that is ongoing inside of that venue, and what is facilitation of that criminal conduct that is sexually violent, and what is demonic, which is speaking to terrorism, occurring inside of the City of Ontario venue that is the Ovid Family Community Library. All right, it's 7:49 a.m. and that's P.O.C. All right, I did capture more maintenance of presence in the path, and that's as I'm capturing the video, and the state's fake sun is literally in real-time movement, and I have captured that before. For example, at 43, that's one of the first times I captured it was at 435 South Bonview Mercy House, and the state's fake sun, this was on a Saturday, and this is as I am standing on the property of the Mercy House grounds inside of the gates, and the state's fake sun is over my head while I'm standing outside, and I just walk a couple feet to my left, which the direction would be, I was walking east inside of the gates of 435 South Bonview, and you literally see the fake sun move with me, just like you saw right now as I'm standing on Lemon Street, and I just moved from one side to the other. The state's fake sun moves from the side of the library to the side of the 280 North Lemon Apartments. That's one of the first times that I captured that. You're looking at real-time movement, migration of this light source that is engaged in the obsessive. It is the picture of the stalker that is the state, all right? And that's the exact same stalking conduct that the people of the state are engaging in, and they are doing it as a group. And this is how the system is, this is how the system operates, and it's such that it's never to be detected that you're being stalked. But the people of the state are stalking as much as a hovering stalker. The state is by plane and helicopter and by police. All right, I've shown that by the American Medical Response ambulance, by the Ontario Fire Department, by the Sheriff's Department, okay, by the state with its light source and directed light, okay. The people of the state of California, and this is what I want to make clear, that is not different. It is the exact same stalker, and it is amongst a people. How are they motivated? Why are you stalking someone that you do not know? It's demonic. That's why. Okay. This obsession is abnormal and unnatural. This is satanic conduct that they are engaging in. And this is that motivation to stalk someone whose name you don't even know, let alone, I wouldn't be stalking someone whose name I do know, Tracy Banks, but and I'm saying Tracy Banks as an example. So she's stalking someone who she does not know. She doesn't have any form. She's under the state's, criminal pattern of conduct that's underway, and that's how you're prosecuting that. But you're talking about that which is of that is why it is relevant for the ongoing context. What is ongoing? And it needs to be clear. The people of the state of California are intentionally stalking in the same way that I have shown the state is stalking with its light source. They have that same exact intention to maintain presence. They are the same obsessed stalker, and that I cannot exaggerate that. I can't more fully state that. But that is exactly what I have documented. That's exactly what is ongoing. And I have vividly demonstrated it through what is the maintenance of that environment for that criminal and demented purpose amongst the people who are engaged in stalking one person. together. All right. And it's supposed to be hidden because, and basically not foreseen and not suspected because you're surrounded by a group of people whose name on top of that you don't even know. Right. And so it's supposed to be that which is never to be perceived because it is stalking in that regard. That's what group stalking is. All right. And in addition, the convenience of engaging in group stalking is where you don't have to follow as one individual, just one person. You're engaged in ongoing delegation of stalking, maintaining presence of the path together. All right. So you're making sure as the group that the target individual is always surrounded, and the state is doing it on a massive scale with light while they're engaging in monitoring. It's also serving that demented demonic environment where they're engaging in stalking together. OK, it's entirely demented what the people of the state of California are engaging in and what I'm revealing that they are doing together. And so this is what you are witnessing. This is what I am actually revealing. And it is terrorism. All right. It's absolutely a sick people. And I happen to know one by name. All right. More than one. Eric Corey Spencer as well. Tracy Banks. OK. These are demon possessed actors whose name I know engaging in the system for years before I knew it. OK. It is 7:58 a.m. And so what I was stating was the first time that I captured the state's light source, which is entirely, if you pay attention to the video, you're literally looking at it moving as I take step by step by step. You're witnessing demonic activity. In that, just that, you're witnessing demonic activity. And this is what the state is doing at all times. Really, literally, at any step I take in any direction, the state's fake sun is going in that direction and remaining in alignment to me, remaining over my head, remaining where I am, even inside of the building. This is why you have the fake sun at the entrance as I enter at 10 a.m. And then you have the state's fake, at whatever time I enter, because after 10 a.m., the state's fake sun will stay wherever I am. Okay. And then at 10:30 a.m., for example, like I showed, the state's fake sun is over my head while I'm at the back of the library. Okay. It's moving as I move in whatever direction. That's demonic. That's exactly what the people of the state of California are doing. Okay. This demon possession is that which is demonstrated through their conduct, and their conduct is in no way anything normal. They are engaging in the stalking conduct with the state that is following with the light source. And that's how you know that they are stalking, okay? Because this system is supposed to be concealed, and it's not concealed. I'm showing you what they're doing together and in that environment that they're doing it together. All right. It's 7:59 a.m. and the state's fake sun is on the side of the library like I captured, like it remained yesterday. OK. And I captured what our group stalkers in front of the library, sitting on the side and maintaining presence and doing so while I'm documenting that and giving the recitation of P.O.C. as I go from 630 North Fern. All right. So they are sitting on the side of the not the side. This would be like the front, where the front area is, where facing the construction area where McCarthy is Monday through Friday, engaging in what is formed for the state while I'm there. Okay, because they're engaging in the pattern of conduct, and there is no forum where the state's pattern of conduct is underway. It while I am in relevant position, it is then used while I am present. It is used for that purpose of stalking with activity, amplified artificial activity, while the state's fake sun and directed light is present. This is that ongoing systematic monitoring system, and it's entirely demonic. All right. It is 8 a.m. on the dot. All right. I just wanted to demonstrate the state's stalking conduct. Let me put that on my podcast, actually. And so as I walk to the opposite side of the library, you have the state stalking in an Ontario Police Department vehicle, license plate 1591657, vehicle number 1032, and in direct alignment with me. And remember, the state's directed light, the state stalking with its light source, the blatant stalking with a light source, and then you have the state actor, the Ontario Police Department, stalking in relevant position, because that's what they are. They're keeping in relevant position under the fake sun, and that is clearly the fake sun. And so I'm capturing it in video so you can see it. That's going to the prosecution of that agency. This is demon possession as it is exposed. The state's fake sun is over their police station at both 11 o'clock in the morning when I'm there, but you have it remaining over the Ontario Library while I'm here. That is not actually the sun. It's demon possession. It's federal stalking while I'm at their venue of 2500 South Archibald. And right here you have an actor of that agency engaged in repeated acts, and they represent this agency that's engaged in repeated acts of kidnapping. All right, engaged in repeated acts of stalking, as I have continuously documented since 2019. And this is stalking, and the fake sun literally moves to keep in alignment as I walk to the opposite side of the building, of the library. After you see it remain stationary on the side of the library where I'm sitting on, and it moves in real time, and you've got a clear picture of stalking by the Ontario Police Department under the fake sun. You're looking at what is a psychopath. You're looking at what is demon possession, in other words, okay? And this is stalking by that agency. So I might want to make sure I documented that. This is a male. His face and his agency that he represents clearly demonstrated. And this is in no way separate from that ongoing stalking conduct that I continue to document. The state sounding planes engines, the state sounding helicopter, the state moving its fake sun to remain over me. And then you have a psychopath that has zero form. So you're looking at what is the blatant exposure of that. You're looking at what is seeing the face of Satan, all right? Satan that you cannot physically see with your eyes, you're looking at it based on its conduct, and that's a psychopath that has zero form, shown to be the stalker that they are. It's vehicle 1032, and that's P.O.C, and that's what I captured in video. You'll see that it's 8:06 a.m. and the state's fake sun, like I clearly show, is nowhere on the side of the library, as I showed also the state's light activity. It's aiming light underneath the walkway at an angle. I'll show you. It remains on that side because yesterday I didn't walk to this opposite side of the library, but as I walk to this opposite side of the library, fake sun is clearly on the opposite side of the building. This is what the state does as I walk to the back of the library while I'm inside of it, and it's clearly captured over it. And by the way, what the state is doing right now with its fake sun, moving north and south, this is the same position that it's in essentially when I'm inside of the library, and it's at the back angle. It's over my head as I aim my camera upward, and I'm at the back of the library. And this is ongoing while I'm documenting the state actor that is the Ontario Police Department, which is what this officer represents. He is a psychopath, and he has no business in law enforcement. This is that which is speaking to the entirety of that agency. They are plagued with demon possession, and that is what I'm exposing. They are engaging in what is a satanic targeting system, and that ongoing maintenance of that environment while they are there, that Ontario Police Department badge and vehicle provides absolutely zero form while they are engaging in criminal activity, which is of Satan, all right? These are psychopaths that pose a danger to society, criminal facilitation of criminal activity, which is entirely demented as a group, okay? This is also speaking to what is the sex offender, because they engage in the same stalking conduct while my panties are down, and they are stalking in this same manner under the fake sun and in directed light. That's P.O.C. And that vehicle, again, 1591657, vehicle number 1032, that is just one example of what the entire department is engaging in, okay? And they are doing it under the blatant and well-established conduct of what is not the sun. The direct evidence against the people and the state. That's a psychopath, again, has no business whatsoever in law enforcement, all right? That is demon possession. That is demon possession. All right, and that's exactly what I document with regard to third parties as they are patrolling and the fake sun is over my head and directed light is all over and the state is stalking by plane and helicopter. It's demonic. That's exactly what's wrong with him. And that's exactly what I'm clearly capturing as you're looking at the environment that he is in, outwardly trying to act like where he has zero form. And that's the psychopath acting like, oh, and they're clearly engaging the P.O.C. This is what I am, this is what I'm exposing. That's a psychopath. And that is a very, very potent danger. Okay, so as I walk to the opposite side, the state is sounding plane engines, and you already know this day in and day out, the state is flying right here where I am in airplanes and by helicopter, and you have the Ontario police acting like nothing is going on. That's a psychopath. Okay, so let me show you the fake sun that's now on the opposite side of the building again, where 17042 Z2 is stalking in relevant position, acting with the Ontario police that was on the opposite side, while the fake sun was on that side of the building. I'm going to show you again. That is audible activity in the fake sun. Right? Minions just walking by making noise under the fake sun. That's how they systematically monitor, and that's how demons engage in this system together. All right, so that is 8:11 a.m. and I captured that. That's the migration of the fake sun while the state is sounding plane engines 17042Z2 crossing path. Directed light, again, customarily accompanies their presence on the asphalt while they're crossing path under a fake sun. That's P.O.C. All right, it is 8:11 a.m. and I just wanted to make sure I thoroughly capture that because I am speaking to what is a literal, they are out of their minds with regard to being closeted psychopaths. But it's not closeted because I'm exposing it. So you're talking about dealing with, here comes the psychopath again, stalking in relevant position, 8:12 a.m., replacing the third party. They're one entity, okay? 1591657. All right, here comes a group stalker. Understand, Satan operating over a different individual, same entity, license 6VAT035. All right, P.O.C, impossible light activity, his wheels, the body of his car swiping across 215 E.C. Street sign and all across the sidewalk as he crosses path. That's demonic activity. And you can see the video of the Ontario Police Department that drives from the back of the venue where I walk to the opposite side and I get the and understand that license plate I just read, that's the entire entity is going to be prosecuted for that. That's the terrorism that they engaged in, and that was more pronounced even than the demon-possessed stalker that is the Ontario Police Department that drove by, and you're seeing what is impossible light activity. So you have a third party because they're monitoring what I'm reviewing on my phone. So as I review it, and you're seeing the direct evidence of what is impossible light activity, what is the fake sun, as he is, again, you're looking at, he's under the fake sun, stalking in the path as I walk to the opposite side of the library. The opposite side that is facing what is D Street over there. And the fake sun is keeping in alignment with me. And he is stalking, okay? And I'm speaking to, it's not just that he's stalking, it's not just federal stalking. This is demon possession, exposing that secret that you can't physically see on him. And that's a demon-possessed stalker. He has no business in law enforcement, all right? So you're talking about a criminal that is a psychopath. And and he just happens to be wearing an Ontario police uniform. That psycho goes out of his way to drive past me again at the front of the venue of the Ontario Library. And the fake sun is right over me while he does so, while he also engages in mutual molestation with the state, and directed light is streaming like a laser off of his car, which you can see in the video. This is absolutely impossible light activity. This is that same pattern of conduct that I document as third parties and state actors alike engage in what is patrolling. That is the exposure of the entirety of the system and seeing what is a demonic environment, okay? They're demons and they're stalking together, okay? This is what the state does. And then you have the third party whose license plate I read engages in repeating that. This is hostility as I capture that state actor, that demon-possessed stalker, that is the Ontario Police Department in vehicle 1032. And then another third party comes by and the state engages in even more of that impossible light activity. You're literally seeing a golden color light reflection of his Cherokee Jeep vehicle on the asphalt. And then it is this light is spanning across the logo sign of the address on the side of the library. It's reaching up to the heights over there as I'm reciting it in real time. All right, and this is following my reviewing that video. So they're looking at what I just captured on video, and understand I'm dealing with demons, okay? They are hostile to it the more that I document. And so this is why you have what is another one. It's equally impossible, but it's even more exaggerated impossible light activity as they are hostile to what I just captured on video, which is the direct evidence of that psychopath stalker wearing an Ontario Police Department. He's going to be prosecuted for that. That's a psychopath that belongs in a straitjacket and in federal prison, engaging in terrorism. Terrorism because he represents the agency engaging in federal stalking, wearing that police badge. That's an intent to terrorize while you're engaging in federal stalking. That's a violation of existing federal law. But secondly, that which you're talking about what is demonic activity, and that's what I'm letting you know, and that's what I'm showing you they're engaging in, which you are able to witness by the environment, and it is speaking to what is stalking amongst the people, and it's entirely satanic. That's where this motivation comes from, to stalk somebody that you don't even know, and they are stalking. All right, they are very, very interested in mutually, as a group, concerned about keeping surrounded, stalking in the same way that you see the state stalking with a light source. I take any one step to the left or to the right to the front and to the back. The state's fake sun is right there. That's exactly what the people of the state of California are doing. That's exactly what the Ontario Police Department is doing. That's exactly what the Ontario Fire Department is doing. That's exactly what American Medical Response, AMR Ambulance, is doing. This is satanic, all right? And it is expansive demon possession over a people. That's what I'm showing, all right? And the evidence speaks for itself. I am telling you what the evidence is showing, and it is showing that which you cannot see on them, but it is showing that which you can recognize based on their conduct, and it's identical conduct amongst a vast number of faces, and it's because it's demon possession, and they're engaging in what is criminal activity, and that's how you're going to prosecute. All right. But it goes beyond that. This demonic possession, this demonic activity that they're engaging in together is prosecuted as terrorism, because that's what it is. So that's 8:19 a.m. and that was an ongoing molestation by the state and third parties alike. And I've documented thousands of them, and they're all going to be prosecuted for that. Okay, and that's the state and third parties acting together. All right. It is 8:20 a.m. and that's what just happened right now after the Ontario Police documented again engaging in terrorism and stalking. And doing so under the fake sun at the back of the library. And then as I go to the front of the library, that is the direct evidence against them and third parties. And then on top of that, they're touching. All right. That's the psychopath. They are sickos. Okay. And I don't even have to stress it because you can look at it with your own eyes. All right. Because that's not the sun that's following me back and forth. And that is the Ontario Police Department following me everywhere that I go. They're stalkers. And it's demon possession. It's 8:20 a.m. That's P.O.C. All right, it is 8:49 a.m. and I captured so that you can see with your own eyes how the state engages in maintaining an environment based on where I go, and doing this with light, doing this with the audible activity that surrounds, and doing this by the people of the state who are stalking, maintaining presence of the path jointly. All right. Equally engaging in this demonic stalking conduct, equally engaged and focused on maintaining presence. That's the stalker acting as a group. So how does the pattern of conduct look as I move to the front of the library where it was entirely shaded? All right. State's fake sun is on the side of the library, aiming light at that location and directed light while I'm over there. As I move to the backside and I capture the demon-possessed stalker driving an Ontario Police Department vehicle, who then drives past me at this turn circle at C Street and molests with directed light, and demonstrating what is demonic hostility to that which he monitors, which is he knows the video that I captured. He knows exactly how I'm describing him, which is accurately. Okay, this is demon possession, not just federal stalking criminal activity. These are abnormal individuals who are plagued with demon possession. That's why they're engaging in stalking people as a group in an absolutely unnatural environment, someone that you don't even personally know. Okay, I'm not talking about those demon possessed stalkers that are Eric Corey Spencer, Tracy Banks, and those who I do know, those who I formerly associated with, who I know by name, who are engaging in this demonic activity, maliciously so, all right, unbeknownst to me, all right, those are psychopaths as well, the same demon possession. Those just happen to be third parties whose name I know, but I want to be clear, as I move to the front, the state invading what's supposed to be shade. This is the pattern of conduct, and so you are looking at what is literally light just appearing out of the atmosphere. All right, I'm sitting facing the construction area where McCarthy is Monday through Friday, engaging in construction, which is relevant position in the fake sun. You know, they're monitoring. But you have what is the light just appearing out of nowhere on the sidewalk. And again, as I sit there and I don't address it, right, the state is engaging in demonic activity, and I am entirely aware of what are the demented tactics of this entity that is literally it's a psychopath. It's very sick. Okay, and I'm talking about the totality of that entity that I'm exposing that's engaging in criminal activity. It's very sick, and so if I don't acknowledge it, and the light is on the ground and it's just getting taller and taller, getting closer and closer to me. So I intentionally wait until the state engages in something. So I'm showing you what is the pattern of conduct, which is ceaselessly underway. The state is sounding plane engines right now, even though you don't see a plane flying over me. The state is stalking via third parties who are patrolling on traffic on D Street, on Euclid Avenue, on C Street, on B Street, and on Hope Boulevard, and on Sultana. I'm speaking to the entire, they're surrounding, all right, and they're patrolling. While light is invading, the state's fake sun is over me, all right, and there is literally light just appearing out of the atmosphere onto the asphalt and getting taller and taller, getting closer and closer to me. And so I capture on video what is the state stalking via airplane, and doing so, flying in the west direction to my left as I'm sitting at the front of the library, where I captured those group stalkers sitting next to me while I was documenting on my podcast this morning, and then you have what, as I sit here, light just appearing out of nowhere, and this is the state's pattern of conduct of stalking with light. That's the demonic activity. You are witnessing it being communicated through the environment, okay? And this is that which is shared amongst the entity. They are engaging in this conduct because it is a demonic system, and they are all engaging in group demonic activity. And targeting one who is not part of this demonic conduct, and this is why you are targeting, all right? That is a demonic inspiration. I am not part of that. I am not plagued with that. That's why I'm pointing it out. And by the way, if I was a part of it, I wouldn't be speaking to it. Okay, that's not how that works. Just so you know, I'm pointing it out, and unapologetically, because it's disgusting. They're filthy cockroaches, and they're engaging in criminal activity moreover. So that is something that you cannot ignore in a court of law, but you cannot ignore the demonic activity either, because it's terrorism, and that's something that is not to be disregarded in federal court, because that's how you're going to speak to the creation of federal policy, like an entire framework for getting a public entity, a government that is engaging in the system, because California is not the only one. California is not alone. I'm speaking to what is that which is supposed to be concealed, never to be, certainly not discerned, and even if discerned, meaning knowing that you're being surrounded and targeted for whatever reason by a bunch of demonic actors, what are you going to do about it? That's what the response is by the state that thinks that it can conceal its criminal and demented activity. All right. But you can prosecute it, and that's what I'm showing you. And it translates to terrorism. Stalking with light in this regard, what I'm showing you on video, that's terrorism. The state is doing this repeatedly everywhere that you go, and doing it in concert with the people of the state. All right. That is an unprecedented type of gang conduct, serving a criminal purpose. All right. And they are engaging in this conduct at all times, at all places, and doing it maliciously so, while actively engaging in doing so in concert with the government, and the mere identity of the people of the state, the mere identity of the government that is engaging in and facilitating. Both actors are facilitating. The people facilitate, and the state itself is facilitating criminal activity, which is also terrorism, while this entity is engaging together in what is demonic. All right. So it's 8:55 a.m. and you'll see that in the video that I captured, and that is speaking to the ongoing group stalking, where the state is present with its directed light. You're not stalking with directed light and with the fake sun for no reason. It isn't for naught. Okay. It is not for any. It is not occurring for absolutely no reason. It is occurring because the elements are present. So you are looking at what is the identity of the hallmarks. So where you are identifying that which is an unnatural environment, that is speaking to the presence of all the other elements. Whether you know you're being stalked or not, so you're witnessing what is the impossibility of light activity in an unnatural environment. So perhaps one does not have the eye to or discernment to know that absolute strangers, including those you know, but let's just focus on the stranger aspect, absolute strangers that you don't know, and the police are stalking you, but you don't know that. All right. But you're looking at what is an environment, as you're recognizing the environment, that's not occurring for no reason. And the mere presence of that environment is speaking to the criminal activity. It's not happening for just funsies. OK, it's happening because you're subject to the monitoring system. And I'm speaking to, and I'm revealing, what are the hallmarks. Directed light is a hallmark. Stalking with the light source is a hallmark. Okay, if you're in Atlanta, Georgia somewhere, and you got the sun directly over your head, I'm showing you video after video where this is not the sun that's directly over my head. And I'm gonna let you know right now, there's only one sun, and it is not both directly over my head all day long while it's over your head in Atlanta, Georgia. No, that's not. You're witnessing what is the pattern of conduct. The government is engaging in monitoring. Okay. And so you're talking about the identification of those hallmarks, which is telling on the state. It's telling on it. All right. The environment is going to speak the truth. Third parties in the state are the liars. It's nothing but audible activity. All right. And establishing that pattern of conduct is going to be shown. It's going to be done through the identity of what are these hallmarks that I'm revealing to you. That unnatural environment, it is direct evidence. You're talking about the nature of the crime, monitoring with communication devices. Light, That unnatural light conduct, that's direct evidence. That's not circumstantial. It is direct because it is how you monitor. All right. And it is also speaking to what is the group conduct. This is how a group is engaging in stalking and doing it so as they're delegating the task of maintenance in the path together cooperatively, as opposed to one stalker hiding around in bushes around you, following you everywhere you're going. They're all doing that together, and they're doing it conspicuously and inconspicuously. That's the system of group stalking. And it is facilitated by a government acting in concert with the people. This unnatural light environment is speaking to what is the ongoing occurrence of federal stalking by government. And where you're seeing any of these hallmarks, the state stalking directly. The state is not engaging in that conduct for no reason. And it is going to be, it's going to coexist with an unnatural environment. Audibly and with regard to the light activity. All right. And this is on a ceaseless basis. So anyway, it's 8:58 a.m. and that is the P.O.C. All right, plane engine sound as state flies over. Sun. All right, I did capture in video state stalking in real time with its light source, and this is at 10 a.m. and I'm making my point as I enter the venue of what is the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library yesterday, 24 hours ago, 10 a.m. when I walked nowhere near this parking lot of the Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. I walked toward 280 North Limit Apartments in the opposite direction. And you have the group stalkers that are the sex offending people of the state of California in front of 280 North Limit Apartments, engaging in terrorism with Amazon Prime that flies over those apartments. And the state's fake sun moves in that direction, which is south as I walk in front of that apartment building, okay? Fake sun captured directly over me. 24 hours later, it is 10:06 a.m. right now, and the state's fake sun is in the opposite direction in alignment with me as I remain in front of the library. I'm capturing what is the demonic activity of the people of the state that are pacing in vehicles. This is entirely satanic, what they are engaging in, while the state's fake sun is captured clearly over my head as after I walk from the back portion of the parking lot of the library to the back to the seating area where I'm at in front of the library that is facing the MacArthur construction site. And the fake sun is right over my head as the state is flying over in a third-party commercial airline plane, which is amplified audible activity while the people of the state are stalking in the path, which is what I'm capturing on video. And the state's fake sun is directly over my head, and I want to be clear that is distinctly opposite of the side of the same location at the same time. 24 hours ago, it was over my head over the 280 North Limit Apartments. I'm using this as an example. You're looking at what is terrorism by the people who are stalking in the path with the state. And engaging in stalking in the same way that the state is stalking by police, just like I showed this morning, remaining over this same library since 7:30 a.m. And they are pacing in vehicles stalking in the path. All right, let me get license plate 6LLE955. That's P.O.C. They are engaging in demonic terrorism, and they are engaging in sexual violence as the state molests. The people of the state are molesters as well with their criminal instrumentalities of monitoring. That is 6LLE955. And the other license plate that's sitting in front of the library, stalking with light, stalking as the fake sun is over my head as I walk to the C Street turn circle is 37864U2. This is demonic activity that the people of the state of California are engaged in.
All right, so I did capture the fake sun as I walked toward the entrance. All right, and that is the direct evidence not only against that Ontario police officer representing that agency, that's the entire agency that's engaged in demonic activity, which is terrorism. That's the same agency that was stalking in the parking lot while the state was sounding sirens, which was amplified in sound, just like you're hearing now, under the fake sun that has remained on the library property of 215 East C Street since 7:30 this morning. That is how you know what is the criminal purpose of those sirens. There is no form, okay? Those are psychopaths, and that's demonic. That's terrorism. That's exactly how I'm going to prosecute third-party venues, third parties, and the state. It is 10:09 a.m. P.O.C. All right, I did capture on video just to remind those surveyors who are observing and speaking to what is terrorism as an entity engages in it, and this terrorism stalking with light, which is serving a criminal purpose, but it's also demonic, what they're engaging in, and they're engaging in it as a group. And these are demon-possessed individuals acting collectively to maintain presence in concert with the government that is engaging in not only monitoring via communication devices, which is federal stalking, but they're engaging in what is terrorism as they are targeting an American citizen in every aspect of that life, right? Professionally, personally, privately. This is an entity engaging in that conduct, and this is terrorism that is being operated and facilitated by a public entity. All right, and so what I stepped out to document specifically is what you see on August 17, 2021, the state's light source, which is squarely over my head, in the same way that the state's light source is squarely over my head right now as I exit third-party facilitating venue Ontario Open Family Community Library, after, by the way, capturing it at the same property, at the same address, moving from both sides to the building as I go from the side of it facing the senior center to the opposite side facing D Street. The state's fake sun is remaining in alignment with me remaining over in my head, okay? And at 11:44 a.m. on August 17, 2021, while I'm at the state facilitating video of the Ontario Police Department, the state's fake sun is at the same position in its zenith over my head at that property where federal stalking was underway, where terrorism, okay, which is the demonic aspect, all of those demonically possessed individuals engaging in federal stalking at that venue, where I am present, where Jason Knighton is engaging in terrorism as I capture on video at 4 p.m. later at that same property, and the state's fake sun is over that property again as I return to it. I want to be clear, this is the state's light source, which is over my head, the same central position relative to my location over this property after remaining since 7:30 in the morning. And I have captured what is the state's fake sun, which is over this property, and it is not mutually over the Ontario Police Department, maintaining that central position over my head, right, at both addresses. That's 2500 South Archibald Avenue, and the state's fake sun is documented just today, all right, not even counting all the other documentation that exists for over 2.5 years of the state's remaining right here over the property of 215 East C Street since 7:30 in the morning. Okay, the state's light source is not going anywhere. The state's light source remaining over my head as I was being subject to federal stalking and terrorism by the Ontario Police Department that engaged in repeated acts of kidnapping, engaging in that same criminal activity as I documented on camera where the fake sun is over the museum, and those same kidnappers in relevant position at 214 South Euclid Avenue, and at the same time as I captured it here while the state's fake sun is remaining where I am here today, not over the museum as it was on that day where that same agency, the Ontario Police Department, were engaging in federal stalking on that day as well. And this is already documented and published where S. Patty, officer number 19945, and the male, it was a Caucasian male, and the officer who identifies herself as upon my request, while the fake sun is directly over, moving from the museum, and that is Officer Stratis, is how she identifies herself. I documented her name as Skatel, as I could recall it, on the day that I was kidnapped on June 18th. This is the documentation of what is stalking with light, and this is speaking to what is terrorism by an entity that's engaging in demonic conduct together, which is achieving a criminal purpose which exceeds mere federal stalking under 18 U.S.C. 2261A subsections 1 and 2. This is demonic activity, and that's what stalking with light is. This is what stalking as an entity is, and that's what the entity is doing. That's why you're stalking with the light, and this is what I'm showing with regard to what the state is doing with its light source, which is not the sun, remaining over my head as I showed in video right now at 11:45 a.m. And compare that. Look at the video at 11:44 a.m. where I'm at 2500 South Archibald Avenue, and I am standing next to what is the freeway. The freeway is beside the Ontario Police, well, adjacent to the Ontario Police Department. and I believe that is the 10 freeway, and you have what is the state's fake sun as I'm standing on the property of the Ontario Police Department, both at 11 and then later again that same day at after 4 p.m. And this is a clear contradiction of what the state is seeking to. I mean, by virtue of its conduct, you're trying to posit that that's the sun, and I'm showing how this is clearly not the sun, remaining in the central location in its zenith over my head, and you're also in that same central position over my head at an entirely different address, okay? Not even on Hope Boulevard, all right? That is P.O.C, and that was P.O.C at the Ontario Police Department, and that was P.O.C that I captured, a demon-possessed Ontario Police Department officer engaging in federal stalking, engaging in terrorism, engaging in what is sexual molestation as he engages in returning in order to communicate a threat, a terrorizing threat on video, while directed light molests my person as he is crossing path, engaging in absolutely ominous and demonic conduct on camera. All right, it is 11:52 a.m. and that is the state's light source remaining over this property as I already captured upon exit yesterday at 6 p.m. and it remains over this property for the duration of the day. That is terrorism. All right, not even in any way the sun ever behaving like a sun, and that is the people are engaging in that same exact stalking conduct inside of the venue. Everywhere I go, every move that I make, including in the bathroom when my panties are down, and they are all engaging in mutual surveillance and stalking in the path, entering and creating activity pursuant to that sexually violent conduct and demented demonic activity. This is ongoing terrorism. All right, and doing so with minor children as well. That is both the facilitating venue and those third parties that are acting individually as I continue to document. That is for purposes of intensifying prosecution. This is 11:53 a.m. and that's P.O.C. Okay, it is currently 3:36 p.m. I am downstairs in what is supposed to be the quiet area. And generally a library is generally a quiet area, but this is the designated quiet area, and I want to document what is the ongoing engagement in the criminal elements while they're monitoring my internet use and use of my communication devices, both on my cell phone and my MacBook laptop. And you're hearing, while I'm downstairs in the supposedly quiet area, loud booming as though something is like trying to crash through or break through the ceiling. And this is with simultaneity to the operation of my laptop, which again the state is engaging, and by the state I mean this venue acting in concert with the state that is monitoring and actively engaging in an ongoing some sort of competition, some sort of concerted effort to try to stop publishing. All right, and so with regard to my laptop and the controlling the electrical outlet. And I'm at a different location where the same pattern is ongoing, and this is not an issue with my laptop's ability to function. It requires electricity, so interruption of that electrical charge to my laptop immediately results in it being powered off. And so this is the ongoing, just like I documented yesterday as I sat at the behind the area where the back of the library is, where the teen area is, their teenage minions, where I capture facing the College of Law, LORRAINE College of Law, and I'm sitting at that area, and the state engaged in repeated acts of the interruption of electricity in order to access the ability of my computer to remain on, all right, because of the battery. So it needs electricity in order to maintain a charge. And so this is repeated conduct. This is the same thing inside of the study rooms that I have also documented. This is the same thing. Now I'm in a different area. This is the quiet area downstairs where they are both engaging in what is the ongoing stalking with activity conduct. This is terrorism as well. They're monitoring, but this is that ongoing terrorizing environment as the minions sit in a different area and they start patrolling back and forth, hitting the desk as they pace back and forth beside me as I'm sitting at the desk while I am in operation on my podcast, reviewing it and getting online and using my hotspot in order to access internet on my laptop. Okay, this is all ongoing simultaneous conduct, and I wanted to document that. This is yet another area where the state is engaging in this ongoing interruption of electricity, all right, in order to power off the laptop while it is monitoring the documentation as I am actively on my website and actively on my podcast. All right, the entity is monitoring. This is documentation of how they engage in what is obstruction of justice. It's literally just, I mean, these are demons that I'm dealing with, but this is relevant to what are acts of seeking to try to obstruct, anything to try to obstruct. Just powering off by controlling the electricity that's allotted, and then that is requiring interruption of electricity. And this is the same thing, like, for example, inside of Economy N, whereas my computer, if it remains plugged up, there is no issue with the operation of my MacBook laptop. And that's why I brought a brand new battery. So this is that ongoing intent to obstruct justice, while, especially if they look at something that they don't want published, the entity, and it still gets published, but the entity just engages in interrupting, and that is Edison, for example. That's a third party, both monitoring in relevant position and also monitoring via controlling of the environment, and that's what that is relevant to: engagement in ongoing manipulation of the environment, controlling the electricity that is allotted in order to result in some sort of effort to obstruct the ability to publish, while the minions, these demon-possessed stalkers, are engaging in group stalking inside of the venue, and the state is also engaging in amplification, creating an ongoing terrorizing environment while they are all monitoring together. And this is downstairs in the quiet area where you're hearing a loud boom coming from where in that, I don't even know where that's coming from, but this is supposedly a quiet area, and I'm just letting you know this is the demonic activity that they're engaging in, and they're doing it on camera. You can clearly see me with my hat on, with my luggage carrier, and I'm sitting here, and you're seeing, as I sit down here, you see traffic builds up on the camera. They're walking past, hitting the desk, pacing back and forth, and they're doing it with simultaneity to what I'm doing on my communication devices, which is turning it on. Turning on my Wi-Fi and my hotspot, all right, reviewing my podcast, and they're listening to all of it, moment by moment, ongoing, all right. So I just want to document that, and that is, like I said yesterday, that's ongoing conduct, and this is a pattern that's relevant to what I'm speaking to with regard to my laptop and cutting the electrical power. That is relevant to what the state does, and that is pursuant to the ongoing control of the environment. All right, that's P.O.C. It is 3:41 p.m. I'm on the first level in the basement area, and they are engaging in P.O.C. down here. P.O.C. All right, 3:45 p.m. I just want to make a note, and this is seen on the cameras as well. Immediately after documenting the specific conduct that the entity is engaging in downstairs while I'm here surrounding, in the on the first level of the library, that ongoing booming using the sound of the elevator and ongoing crashing noises, it increases immediately following my documentation of that loud activity in the quiet area. And that's the demonic behavioral pattern as well, okay? I just want to document that. It's 3:45, and so again, immediately after I speak to it, they engage in more of it, okay? It's 3:46 p.m. and that's P.O.C. All right, it is 4:35 p.m. and this is the powering off. This is interruption of electricity in order to turn off my laptop, while ongoing interruption of internet access. Interruption of the ability to access information on the internet is actively underway. So stuttering internet, stopping the connection, and ultimately just disconnecting electricity to power off my laptop altogether. 4:36 p.m. This is ongoing conduct, and this my laptop powered off again by the state that's monitoring and cutting off the ability to access information on the internet and slowing down my internet connection, interrupting my internet connection. That's P.O.C. All right, it is currently 5:45 p.m. and capturing the group stalkers that currently surround. Understand the nature of the system is that the faces are constantly changing. So these are just those that are in my immediate environment that I'm documenting via image right now. They're also documented on the surveillance cameras because it's ongoing federal stalking as I remain at this venue. And they're engaging in federal stalking and what is also terrorism. And I capture, as of right now, those that surround, but you have an ongoing fluctuation of faces engaging in the P.O.C. They just come through, and it's literally demonic activity. They just come through engaging in P.O.C., ongoing presence, ongoing monitoring and activity creation, especially pursuant to what I'm doing on the internet, on my communication devices. So be aware of that. These are not the sole actors, and I've already demonstrated that, but I just like to make sure I'm clear with regards to that. This is group conduct, and that group is it's an ongoing fluctuation of faces. That's a system in operation. You're just changing faces. This is how the state is acting while the ongoing environment is maintained. I want to document the engagement in ongoing interruption of electricity, okay? So this is a power outage. As my computer is the electricity is interrupted, and so this is the pattern, and this is with regard to especially what I'm doing on the internet. And this is downstairs at yet another location inside of the same venue. At 3:31 p.m. power outage, turning off my computer. At 4:35 p.m. turning off my computer. At 5:01 and 5:11 p.m. And then upon turning it on, as it is right now, it is in a stagnant state. The state is engaging in stuttering, the ability for it to turn back on. So it's like when you power on your MacBook, and if you're familiar with it, it's like processing, and then it shows you the progress of the bar, and it's just stuck at that station. So this has been about approximately 15 minutes, and it's stagnant at that page. That's monitoring, okay? And this is with regard to, in addition to the ongoing interruption of internet access, and access not only to information, the state is engaging in ongoing monitoring as though the information is not available on the internet, but it is. The state is just blocking my ability to access it. That's exactly what these demon-possessed stalkers, whose images I capture, they're engaging in federal stalking with that entity, all right? So I just got a sample of those who are currently surrounding me. They're monitoring together. And so I'm also speaking to that ongoing interruption of the ability to generally access internet, in addition to what is the ongoing interruption of mere electricity in order to just power off, and then engaging in what is it's like stagnated and not starting up on my laptop all the way. So I'll take an image of that just so you can see what it is I'm describing. My computer powers back on. I turn it back on after the electricity has been interrupted in order for it to power off. And then as I turn it back on, what it is doing now, what it has been doing for the past 15 minutes, and this is monitoring conduct, okay? It is stopped in the process of powering back on to resume the activity that I was engaged in, and so it just stays on that login page, okay? And it never continues logging back on. And that's another means of just obstructing. The state is literally, I'm dealing with demons, and they are entirely pathetic. And anything to try to get just one more second, this is the mentality of the criminal. And I'm surrounded by them, and I'm surrounded by what is demonic activity, okay? And so it's 5:49 p.m., and this is ongoing federal stalking inside of Ontario Ovitt Family Community Library. And let me be clear, I have identified this venue as a third party. It is actually technically a state facilitating venue, because this is an aspect of the city of Ontario. So I want to make sure I'm clear what I am documenting. The criminal activity I'm documenting inside of this venue is actually a state facilitating venue. This is the city of Ontario engaging in criminal conduct and facilitating that criminal conduct, being prosecuted, being exposed, being documented as a sex offender, engaging in terrorism, engaging in criminal facilitation, in every single way in which I'm showing that they are doing that, doing it with minor children, doing it in a private space, all right, doing it in concert with the state directly. This is a state facilitating venue, so I want to make sure I clarify that as well. It's currently 5:50 p.m., and that is P.O.C. All right, I did capture what are the group stalkers as they enter and exit under this fake sun through the exit of the Ontario Ovitt, and I captured the state's fake sun while I'm inside of the library, and you see it clearly in alignment to me as I'm standing inside of the venue. They stay, and as I'm pointing out in the video that you see, were the same conduct of the state that you saw this morning, Ontario Police, as they drive by, and the state's fake sun is on the opposite side of the same building. It's right here over while the Ontario Police cross path, and what you see is directed light streaming backwards as that police officer, which is a demon-possessed stalker, drives past. It is the same conduct used with the door as they are crossing path under the fake sun, which is over the same building, okay? And that was at 8:12 in the morning. It is 5:58 p.m. And while this fake sun remains at the same building and aimed inside of the entrance, it is aimed underneath the covering of the entrance. And while you've got both stationary light, and then you see the dynamic light that is moving as the door moves, stretching into the depths of the library. This is absolutely impossible light activity, and that's exactly what the Ontario Police Department was engaging in with that impossible light activity as they drove past under the fake sun, which was hitting the passenger side of that vehicle, while impossible light activity streamed backwards from that vehicle in my direction onto the across the asphalt onto the sidewalk, where it would be basically like a laser shooting off of the vehicle onto the ground in order to touch me onto the sidewalk. That's what the Ontario Police engage. That's impossible light activity, meaning it's absolutely unnatural. It's the same demonic activity. That's what they are doing as they are ingressing and egressing out of the entrance. And the fake sun is and remaining, first of all, over the same building. And second of all, it is low such that I was able to capture it in video as I am standing inside of the venue in front of the door. And I'm showing you what is directed light that is stationary, touching all over the ground. And then you see moving light, and this is supposed to be caused by the door opening and closing, okay? I want to be clear, this is directed light, layered directed light. The directed light that's moving as they are, and that is the state that is moving light. That is not a reflection on the door, okay? The state does the same thing at the state facilitating venue of the TAD office, the Human Services Department, where the fake sun is present over that venue, but that is just a tactic of directed light inside of that venue where the fake sun is directly above as well, and that is not a result of the of any door opening or closing, okay? And so as the group stalker that I captured in a picture, he's a fat Latino with Levi shorts on and a hat. He's walks in and out. This is molestation of my person, as light is both inside, as I captured on video. It's also shooting outside. So that is while I'm standing on this side over here, as he is entering and exiting, while I'm inside of the venue, light spanning across like you saw on video. As he exited right now at 6 p.m., light outside of this, while I'm standing on the side nearest the underneath the shaded walkway. I'm standing in the shade, and that's intentional conduct by a demon, all right? And that's sexual violence. That's going to the whole entity. While light is both inside, moving across to inside of the depths of the library, and as I stand on the outside of the library, underneath the sign that says 215 E.C. Street, all right, you have what is light that is touching my person as he opens the door, okay? That's P.O.C, and that's demon possession. That's sexual violation. That's exactly what the Ontario Police Department did this morning as well. This is group stalkers that are crossing path under the fake sun, and this is demonic activity, including Tracy Banks. I just happen to know that group stalker's name. They're all acting together. And you have literally a demon that's just walking one direction and the other direction. And this other demon that opened the door, and outside, light is spanning across my person as he opens the door, which, like I told you, that's audible activity of that demon that's Tracy Banks, who was monitoring me this morning, and she's monitoring me now with absolute strangers. Understand, they're all sex offenders, okay? And this is documentation of that entity acting together, and that's a psychopath monitoring her own daughter with absolute strangers, which she's been doing for years, okay? It is 6:01 p.m. That's P.O.C. That's amplified audible activity under the fake sun. Omnitrans engaging in P.O.C. And that group stalker not only on the cameras inside of the venue as he enters and exits, molesting my person with light. Tracy Banks is engaged in that sexual violation. Omnitrans engaged in that sex. It's one entity, and that's my point, okay? It's an ongoing crime. Ongoing criminal act. I want to make sure that I get this demon's face. And as I do that, you have what is a group stalker with real time, open the door, and that's how they engage conduct together. Stalking with activity. I want to be clear, Tracy Banks is a part of this pattern of conduct, and I got that group stalker's face anyway. He was on the bottom floor, and I got his face. Okay, so he's the one that's engaged in sexual violence. The moment that I go to the camera mode, that's a new movement. He opens the door, and this impossible light activity while I'm standing in the shade, which I also showed inside, is spanning across on the floor. Light activity spanning across me on the outside of the door as well, okay? That's absolutely impossible light activity, and that is the sexual violence that demons are engaging in. And I want to document Tracy Banks because she's directly involved. That's a third party whose name I know. She's engaged in sexual molestation as well, okay? She's right here in relevant position under the fake sun. It's P.O.C. And it is 6:03 p.m. All right, license 8LMA 676, 6FTM 439, 8SDH 388, 7MVG 563, 7RGD 901, 6MUS 854, 3798 5A3. All right, and this is the same entity that just engaged in ongoing molestation while I stood in front of the library, not just this morning with the Ontario Police Department that like to engage in that sexual violence, but also this evening as I captured those demons' faces under the fake sun that's been over that same building, and which is remaining in alignment with me as I'm traveling north up Euclid Avenue right now. 6 BOM 263. License plate 5 BEC 356. I might have said that one already. 7 JVE 964. 8 LMA 676. 8 RTE 847. 4 XYE 489, I believe. 5 UVD 281. 4 5 8 G. I can't see the rest of it, and that was an out-of-state license plate. I'm at 4th and Euclid Avenue, and at this time it is 6:10 p.m. and the state's fake sun is headed north up Euclid Avenue, keeping in alignment with me in this vehicle. Correct? Okay. That is P.O.C. That's called stalking with light. After it remained over the library, literally all morning and all day. It is license plate J223. That's a handicap. 98759. I can't see the rest of that one. It's 6:11 p.m. 6DK T275, I believe. 8MUB 744. 6MIY 771.
In a quarter mile, use the right lane to take the I-10 ramp to Los Angeles.
Understand, while the state's fake sun is remaining in alignment, that is monitoring me. 8JZB 607. 7KKL. I can't really see the rest of them. 56610D2. I think I read that one already. 8SDH388, yeah. Eight PDU 066 5VXL. I'm sorry, 5VXL 188. All right, the state's fake sun is currently, I'm looking at the 10 East Freeway while they are patrolling in front of me. 8HVS 111. 3146 3E2. 03375K2. And I want to be clear, this is the 10 freeway where the state's fake sun is in direct alignment, and this is necessarily migration north in real time as I'm moving north up the street on Euclid Avenue. And I want to be clear, the state's fake sun at the intersection of G Street and Euclid this morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you have it at 646 West Holt, 7AMF 407, 6JWZ 402, and you have it in real time migrating north to remain in alignment with me as I travel up Euclid Avenue. And I want to be clear, it's still on the same street, aiming light in the same direction, but this is also remaining present, stationary, and while I'm seeing it while I'm inside of the library at 215 EC Street, and it's right here while I'm sitting looking at the 10 East Freeway. That is the pattern of conduct. Every single last one of them are systematically monitoring as I documented them. All of them are sex offenders engaging in terrorism and kidnapping. The entity is acting as one, and I document you take as many names as possible. The state's fake sun, let me get this. Here is the
I just documented on video what is the failure at making the fake sun any more realistic because you travel west on the 10 freeway. The 4YRM880, what I documented this morning is the impossibility, first of all, of the state's light source as it moved from both sides of the library, as I also documented the Ontario Police Department, while that demonic conduct of what is impossible light streaming backwards off of that vehicle. All right, that's what it's supposed to be. Just like right now as I exit that venue, and the state's fake sun is not over the 10 freeway. Okay, as we travel north up Euclid Avenue and then get on the 10 and it's in my face still, after remaining stagnant over 215 EC Street. This is not making that any more realistic. You are looking at real time at what is stalking with the light source and what is that psychopath that is monitoring documentation and failing. You're witnessing what is monitoring by the people of the state. 8JNH693 for psychopaths remaining under a fake sun in directed light and engaging in what is that ongoing molestation. The state this morning, Ontario Police, demonstrated it. That sex offender wearing that police uniform, engaging in molestation with light while they're hostile to documentation. That's exactly what those demons did, those third parties did, that I documented, while that impossible light activity, the fake sun that is in my face on the 10 freeway, is in my face while I'm standing inside of the library, capturing it through the door. And light is both inside and outside while those demons enter and exit that library at 215 EC Street. That's called P.O.C. And this is blatant stalking with light. That didn't go anywhere for over 10 hours, and now it's west, proceeding west as we're on the West Freeway to keep in alignment with me. Okay, that's called the pattern of conduct. It is 6:17 p.m. and that's what you'll see in substantial video where this fake sun is nowhere near 2500 South Archibald Avenue at all. All right, remaining over where I am, including inside of the building. They're nowhere near the Ontario Police Department, not going anywhere near because I'm not anywhere near that Ontario Police Department. The Ontario Police are engaging in stalking in relevant position where I am, and that's where the fake sun is remaining over me. All right, it's 6:17 p.m. License plate 3609 3W2, 8E28602, and 4YRM880 following off the freeway, 6SDB429. At this venue where I'm at on, what is this, the 10 freeway getting off of Indiana, I believe. 7TLW464, they're monitoring. 8CGH342, monitoring. Monitoring at the Shell gas station, right by next to the 10 West Freeway. Monitoring at the Starbucks. And I've already experienced this, the Upland Police Department engaging in stalking as they were everywhere when I used to frequent this area living in Upland, Upland Police engaging in the same group stalking conduct that the Ontario Police Department engaging in. Ubiquitous presence everywhere that I am at, that was the Upland Police while I was in the city of Upland, all right? And they are doing the same thing now, okay? The state's fake sun is in my face while I'm sitting in the vehicle, following from 215 EC Street, maintaining that central presence in alignment with me. 7MYR352, excuse me, or 857, I can't really see that one. LLI R35, that's a Florida plate. 7SJZ634, 7GXV617, 8GJS676. 7KDB960, 6HSE506, 6PDA971. P.O.C. It's 6:19 p.m. And as I've documented, where the state's fake sun remains in front, just yesterday, 24 hours ago, where was the state's fake sun? Right over me while I walked south to get to the Ontario Town Square and document that sex offender that was monitoring with minor children holding her hands while she was molesting me with the state with impossible light activity. And the state's fake sun is nowhere near the 10 freeway, okay? The state's fake sun is stationary over the Ontario Town Square, moving as I move to the opposite side of the amphitheater, remaining in alignment with me while I leave my property. This is what I captured on video. It is remaining stationary. And the state's fake sun then keeping in alignment with me as I walk back north toward the library from the Ontario Town Square, and it remains there as I capture it on video. This is 24 hours ago. Nowhere near norms, nowhere near the 10 freeway, remaining at 215 EC Street, going to the Ontario Town Square as I did, remaining on the opposite side of where it was captured in the morning at 10:04 a.m. over 280 North Limit Apartments, after it remained since 8 a.m., 7:30 a.m. on the side of the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library, where Amazon Prime flew over those apartments. Fake sun captured over my head at those apartments. And then it moves back to the side of the library. And then it remains at Ontario Town Square as I'm there, back over to, and that is north through the same parking lot as I go back toward the library, and it remains there. The state is aiming its directed light underneath that walkway. Okay, you're going to have to recall the documentation, and this is the ridiculous stalking conduct, and it does not make it realistic, because as they're listening to me document them trying to get on the 10 West Freeway, oh, because the sun sets in the west, that's the sun. No, it's not. These are psychopaths, and that's a sex offender, and that's sexual violence that I just documented going to the entirety of that entity, including third parties whose name I know, engaging in monitoring with absolute strangers, which is what that third party has been doing for years. Okay? That is P.O.C. and the state's fake sun remaining in alignment as we enter the parking lot of this third-party facilitating venue. That is also the impossibility of that being the sun. Maintaining that central presence where I am. And why? Because I am being monitored by the state, acting in concert with the people. State's fake sun supposed to be over the library remaining as I remained there yesterday, 24 hours ago. Recall that. Fake sun and directed light underneath the shaded walkway. That's P.O.C. at 6:21 p.m. License plate 8, Edward 237. That's the group stalkers that is aiming headlights in my direction as I exit. And I want to document impossible light activity flashing while I'm standing inside of what, and I'm on camera, I'm referencing at 6:24 p.m. and flashing light across the doors inside while I am documenting this right now. That's P.O.C. at Norms. And again, that license plate was 8, Edward 237. It's 6:24 p.m. All right, it's 6:29 p.m. What I'm taking images of are the ongoing demonic theme. All right, first of all, it's the elements of monitoring, but secondly, this is a demonic feature, this theme with light, and you are looking at a third party engaging in that use of light while I'm sitting at the table inside of this venue where the state's fake sun is outside, where the people are engaged in that ongoing established pattern of conduct, and you are looking at what is stalking with light in a matter that a third party has at their disposal. This is demonic activity, 6:30 p.m., P.O.C. All right, as I captured on video, just speaking to the P.O.C. while I'm inside of that private space, which is the restroom inside of third-party facilitating venue Norms, they're engaging in the ongoing behavioral pattern, which is sexually violent, and this is the creation of audible activity inside of that private space, which is occurring literally where I am inside of the bathroom. It's very targeted conduct, and it's also pursuant to an ongoing behavioral pattern, which is demonic, and it is sexually perverted, all right? While the entity maintains awareness of what you're doing, this demonic entity gets its kicks from engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking while your panties are down, while your genitalia is exposed. This is exactly what the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department engaged in concert with the medical workers and the inmates of the West Valley Detention Center, where I was kidnapped and federal stalking was ceaselessly underway. The state was stalking by plane and helicopter, sirens filling my cell with that audible activity, in addition, filling my cell and that unit with directed light, all right? And while I am in transition, being taken to any location inside of that unit, inside of that jail, light activity accompanied that. So there's no windows, right, while you're walking around inside of the jail. So they had flickering light, which is the creation of light activity, and it's also demonic. All right, so while I'm in the restroom, as I exit at 7:29 p.m., I am on the camera, and I reference it because the group stalker with a blue t-shirt on and a bald head, he's with a minor child, and they are exiting at the same time with simultaneity. Not only is this crossing a path, the state is engaging in the amplification of noise that third parties make in the bathroom, exiting at the same time as I exit, and I do reference the cameras at 7:29 p.m. That is P.O.C.
You don't want your food?
That is P.O.C. I just want to be clear. I reference the security cameras inside of the venue at 7:29 as they are monitoring and doing so with a minor child, okay? And it's on camera. They're all monitoring inside of this restaurant, all right? And you're looking at what is demonic activity, the same behavioral pattern inside of a venue where you're eating, okay? They are engaging in that ongoing sexual violence, and this is why you have audible activity creation while these demons that are hostile to being documented are listening to you use the restroom and creating audible activity, which is impossible to hear. All right, it's amplification of that audible activity while my panties are down, and that is going to be attributed to not only Norms, but the entirety of that entity. And that third-party group stalker, by the way, that is stalking literally at the same time that I exit. That's not a coincidence, that's P.O.C. And on camera with a minor child doing so. And I immediately reference the cameras as that occurs, okay? So I just want to note that, include that in my podcast, 7:33 p.m. And that is the pattern of conduct. This Norms is at the intersection of Indian Hill Boulevard and Auto Center Drive in the city of Claremont. That's what the sign says. Across the street from Chase Bank. All right, that is P.O.C. All right, third-party group stalkers, sex offenders. Get some license plates. They're one entity. 4CUP 566, 6GQR 166, 238 NK handicap, 8JXB 819, 78FF 076, 8KB W415. And we got Impossible Light in front of me. There's no way I'm not going to get their license plate. License 6FYG 687, 8TYF 906. I think I read that license plate already. 3KGY 693 and 6YSE 864, 6HSE 506. It is currently 7:35 p.m. Just documenting more sex offenders. So they're one entity acting together. P.O.C. All right. Let's see. 6BQJ441, 7DLW429. All right, that's P.O.C. All right, want to document terrorism at Montclair Place, 43242V1. This vehicle has three shadows as it's crossing path with the headlights. Tracy Banks acting in concert with him. At the same time that I grabbed from my phone to start documenting, she calls on the phone while this group stalker that was stalking in the path, all right, coming to molest with light, meeting me. This is what group stalkers do. And group stalkers hop in that vehicle. They're patrolling, walking past, and they have multiple shadows around them. This is terrorism at Montclair Place. It's P.O.C. Tracy Banks enters inside of the mall, wants to take me to the mall, and she literally runs away from me and to leave me to be monitored by a whole bunch of group stalkers. She's as much of a criminal and a sex offender as the rest of them. 6TSW972. Understand this is directed light, multiple shadows, and audible activity. License plate 7RUS989. Stalking with light back here, BEAZ961. Stalking with light is license plate 8MXP599. 6BPY674, 8TKK112, 8GFK335, 5MTY992, 6XNF676, 873ZKW. That's a Nevada plate, right? These group stalkers with minor children, and their shadows are like 6 feet, 17 feet tall, okay, while they're in directed light. License plate 6CTW847, stalking with light. This is 8XVX163, 7YGA672, 6TIK527. And let me be clear, the concerted conduct, all right? The moment I start documenting, Tracy Banks wants to call, all right, knowing exactly what I'm doing. This is ongoing criminal activity in concert with a bunch of strangers. This is what she is doing to monitor her own daughter. She runs away. I'm subject to monitoring. Oh, let me show you this. Oh my goodness. Show you this. Right, I did capture what is light, the directed light. You're seeing my shadow, which are spread across on both sides, both opposite sides. They are stalking, sitting in their vehicles, demons engaging in terrorism together. Tracy Banks engaging in that, okay? And leaving me literally to the sharks for these demon-possessed actors, which she is as well. But she just left me to strangers in order to do it, okay? While she brought me to the mall to be subject to that. That's P.O.C. That's the psychopath that I'm going to put in a straitjacket. She's going to federal prison. Hello? License plate 7GXY235, 7ZGB934, 8NTA428, 8JKW016, 8VAN174, 6UEH350, 8DCJ411, stalking with light back here, 8UZT677, 8CXM747, 6MRC608, 7UTA749, 8MFL806, 7WWF738. I already read this stalker's last license plate, 7ZGB934, 8JTC217, 8RKZ146, 7ZOY060, 8SVG459. And these are the sex offenders that were engaging in sexual violence at norms, okay? Same entity. 5LUV119. Everywhere you're going, the fishbowl is maintained. This is demonic activity. This is terrorism by the people. 7CLD374. 8BGJ509. 4VGG863. License plate. License. Touching with the state. 873ZKW. That's the Vegas plate. 8GQZ479. Stalking with light. 8MXP599. 5AAD403. 7DRU154. 7ZIH184. 8DGM385. 7PZP641. 5PRZ729, 8VMC699, 8WHR306, 8KYM474. Come on, sex offender, let me get that license. Driving past me in directed light, they're monitoring. BE18M61. This is a black Dodge Charger with a paper plate on it. License 6LNL656, 5NX8251, 7WDS268. This entire mall is monitoring. As I'm walking around, they're maintaining presence in the corners of the mall. This group stalker is sitting in the parking lot. All right, this one with the license plate 7WDS268. The reason why there's a directed light and I got multiple shadows because these group stalkers are doing this inside as well, maintaining presence in the path as I'm walking through the parking lot. This is demonic activity. My shadow was surrounding me while this group stalker 7WDS268 is group stalking sitting in his car. While, by the way, the ground is vibrating and there is no earthquake. It's called demonic activity. That's a psychopath. I'm going to prosecute you. It is 8:02 p.m. License plate. Let me get another one. This entire mall, this entire venue is monitoring. Okay, that's why directed light is here. That's why. This is terrorism. At Montclair Place, be clear, okay? Montclair Place, 7GRT371. And if that's not American citizen, she needs to be shipped very quickly out of here. 6MKW560, 8VGU548, 7HCV900, 5GW2391, 7HCL639, 7BHA746, 8FNA610, and the same one that's stalking with light over here. And understand their headlights are supposed to be the guise under which is this directed light. This group stalker right over here, let me read that license plate again, 8MXP599, a sex offender. And a very, very, hold on, let me get this. There we go. This overweight sex offender who knows I'm documenting her. She wants to stalk with light. She's going to be on the internet. I'm a prosecutor. I'm going to make an example out of her. All right? License plate 8MXP599. She's touching. All right? She's engaging in ongoing molestation, stalking with the state, using her vehicle as a means of stalking with light. While directed light is all around, that's a threat that she has no right to wage with the government. She's going to be prosecuted for that. 8EAZ961, 8E73025, 8T, I think I read that one already, but let me read it again. 8TKK112, 8FNA610, 6BPY674, 8PXS830, it's P.O.C, 5MTY992. Oh yeah, they're just having a good old time. So I just stepped outside and got those license plates while they're systematically monitoring as I'm walking through this venue, and they're all on surveillance cameras. They are monitoring at, excuse me? That's audible activity while he is stalking in directed light. License plate 5BPZ941, 7SKC037, 7ETN812, 6TYL891. These demon-possessed stalkers are walking around with multiple shadows all around them. All right? It is the absence of normalcy. This is terrorism, and that's why I'm going to prosecute by the masses. It is 8:05 p.m. That's P.O.C. Message 5PCX074, Keeps headlights on at the door of the 7-Eleven. This is how they are engaging in light activity maintenance. As you stand in line, they are engaging in relevant positioning, patrolling in and out of the door. It's relevant positioning, and that license plate in particular is the one that's providing that light for the people of the state to patrol in and out, and engaging in monitoring inside of that venue, 7-Eleven. This is P.O.C. This is located at 9715 on Central, and they're on surveillance cameras right now. It's 8:54 p.m. That's federal stalking that you're looking at. It's P.O.C. 4CDF 343. And as the third-party group stalker is at the stoplight, molesting me with light, acting in concert with the state, I have double shadows. And that's not being created by that third-party group stalker's headlights. All right? And that is molestation by light. And immediately another demon comes right behind that vehicle, speeding up as I begin operating my communication device in order to document it. That's the same entity, okay? That's P.O.C. group stalking by Ontario Police, driving north on Euclid Avenue right now, acting with group stalkers at Ontario Town Square. They are lining the pavement while I am at the intersection of what is B Street and Euclid Avenue. This is P.O.C. License plate. Let's see. 8MQV379, monitoring with the Ontario Police Department. 8SJE388, monitoring with the Ontario Police. 1462883, Ontario Police vehicle number 1823. All right, as you say Satan's name, they engage in more. Okay, that's patrolling in directed light, by the way. That is the state molesting, and that's Ontario Police molesting. On the north side again, crossing path, Ontario Police. These are the demon-possessed stalkers that are engaging in POC, especially as I document third parties. All right, and this is demonic activity. In directed light, my shadow is surrounding me, stalking with light on the opposite side of the street, creating light activity now as I stand here and begin documenting. And the Ontario Police are patrolling on both sides of Euclid Avenue. This is POC, and that's demonic. And understand that this truck with the blinking light is form for what is directed light, all right? All right, they're acting in concert with the state. So that license plate that I recite again, directed light, I am standing looking at more than one shadow while his headlights are also molesting with me. 8ULU493. 7, I'm sorry, scratch that one. 8AMV115. 8UNR566. 8NCL019. And that is audible activity and light activity acting with the state. That's demonic, okay? That's license plate 8AMV115 and pacing in a vehicle. Acting with this group stalker right here at the light, 8NQG983. They're acting together. 8UZS850. So this audible activity with the group stalker across the street with the truck and the blinking light, and I'm telling you about the Ontario Police that are also pacing back and forth on both sides of Euclid Avenue. This is demonic activity. And as I've already established, the state is always stalking via aircraft. Okay, the state is present right now, also stalking via aircraft. This is POC. All right, license plate. Let me get this one over here. GODSMAN, and that is not true. He or she are engaging in a satanic targeting system. You are not God's man. That is license plate. Again, I want to be clear. Stalking right here in relevant position, parking in front of Martha's Tax Service, which is closed at 9:13 p.m. Thick girls only is what's on the back of this vehicle. It's a gray Chevy, license 8AMV115. That's demonic activity engaging in federal stalking. That's POC. Driven by a Latino male with a hairy face. Let's see. Alrighty. He is sitting there stalking in relevant position and provides that vehicle as a means of light activity, acting in concert with the Ontario Police in directed light, okay? Acting with the third party that's across the street using a AAA truck, okay? That's AAA, that's going to that commercial actor. Engaging in federal stalking, monitoring in a private space at Economy Inn, as I documented as well, where the fake sun was remaining over that venue at 2301 South Euclid Avenue. They are engaging in monitoring on Euclid Avenue right here at the intersection of Holt. All right, using that commercial vehicle as a means of creating light activity, acting with the Ontario Police. Also engaging in sexual violence as I am currently being molested with directed light while they are creating additional light, acting with group stalkers that I just documented in 8AMV315. I believe license plate 5LJK909. Ontario Police, vehicle number 1848. All right, crossing path, and the state is flying directly over my head right now in an airplane. All right, that's the demonic activity of the Ontario Police, just like you saw this morning. All right, well, the fake sun remained over that library all day long. That's POC. And Ontario Police vehicle is stalking, that's loitering in relevant position at this vehicle, and this demon-possessed stalker proceeds to drive west on Hope Boulevard while my shadow, I have multiple shadows on the sidewalk, and the state flies over my head in an airplane. All right, that's P.O.C. It is 9:15 p.m. or they will be on traffic cameras. And this is what the Ontario Police Department are doing 24/7, okay? They are always engaging in ongoing monitoring and sexual violence, ongoing surveillance, including while my panties are down. They're engaging in this ongoing stalking conduct. They are sex offenders, engaging in repeated acts of kidnapping while they are engaging in monitoring, all right? They are engaging in what is the terrorism, as these are demon-possessed stalkers, not your ordinary criminal, not your ordinary stalker. The Ontario Police are demon-possessed, and that is with regard to the entire agency, as I am documenting the state engaging in this conduct. And this is an agency that is diseased with. They are sick with demon possession. Okay. License plate 7ZYR641, 7ETZ903. License plate 6JLK229. Touching with light also. License plate 7GUA059. License 5WXY828, 7RFX385. G4A0W8. That is a out-of-state plate. 7HJH076, which I believe I read this license plate already. And remember, these are group stalkers. There's no form. So you're talking about stalkers that know they've been documented and then they cross path again. All right, there's no chance with that. And that's not suggesting that you're not engaged in group stalking. This is established. So I'm speaking to the state of mind of these stalkers as they are also monitoring the documentation. Okay, that's just going to showing you what is the psychopath, because they don't have any form. 7KAF906, 8VAG514. I read that one already. All right, and remember, where the pattern of conduct is underway, this is called pacing. This is not traffic. This is the criminal activity of the people. This is pacing, and this is demonic activity. 8LKH162. All right, and they are present with the state's directed light. This is demonic activity. These are demons driving these vehicles, using them as a means of criminal conduct. License, and this is terrorism. This is P.O.C. Let me see. I got 8RJW835. Excuse me. 7RVZ431. 8NVG442. 7ZYR510. It is 9:18 p.m. 8XPY106. 7STH869. 6AAL311. 8REH499. 6MQY688. 7DEX701, I believe. That is a group stalker that is sitting at a red light, opening and closing their door. That's audible activity. They're in directed light. Everything is serving the criminal purpose, okay? These are sickos that are engaging in criminal conduct. They don't have any form. They didn't need to close their door for, I'm telling you, there's no legitimate purpose. There is no form. They are stalking by using that door. They're in directed light. This entire environment is being maintained for that. That's audible activity. A20004. That's audible activity in directed light. And the demon-possessed stalkers and AAA is remaining in relevant position, stationary, in directed light, monitoring while this ongoing activity surrounds. They're remaining they're loitering in relevant position. But let me also speak to the Ontario Police. Those demon-possessed stalkers are still stalking right now. They engage in stalking conspicuously and inconspicuously. Monitoring with 7JVP122. Monitoring with 8JKV657, 8RNV450. All right? That's why directed light is present. The Ontario Police Department is engaging in ongoing demonic activity that does not sleep. It does not stop. All right. They are going to be prosecuted as terrorists who have engaged in an obstruction of justice. They are sex offenders and they are stalkers. Okay. And that's the entire agency. I have documented those specific actors, but understand that this is a state system, and that's applicable to the entire agency. That's why the fake sun was over that police department. Understand that, okay? This environment is letting you know what's wrong with every single last one of them. P.O.C, this is license plate. Oh, this is AAA. Now driving on the opposite side of the street, providing audible activity in directed light, driven by a white male with a hairy face, long beard. Let's get the license plate. 30591Z2 is the one that was stalking with light. He is monitoring now. This is AAA, engaging in criminal conduct, okay? Good, because that's called audible activity in directed light. P.O.C, license 8BHBD414, substantially similar. 8HYU576, license 8XPY106, license 7PEZ189, 7BLP718, 5RAP247, 8TXW043, I believe, substantially similar. It's 9:21 p.m. 8NPW967. Hold on, let me get this. 8NWW967. 7MQE153. 8WAE484. 7VZA199. 7WCC708. 7VHM540. 5VYM804. All right, remember, these are demons. They're just patrolling, meaning they're maintaining presence in an ongoing environment. Directed light is all over this environment, okay, while they are maintaining presence. This is called stalking and surveillance. In other words, terrorism, because that's what they're doing with regard to stalking an American citizen together, okay, because they are demon-possessed. That's going to translate to terrorism at federal court. License 8DVJ010 15158V2. Oh, and especially the Ontario Police Department. That's going to be an epic prosecution. I'm going to make an example out of them, like I said before, and I do everything that I say I'm going to do. And I will not mince words. They're going to federal prison. 6NMD924, and I mean that. License plate 8NNM037, I mean that. We're not at this juncture for naught. License plate 7BDZ 080. 8LRE 909. 6WMJ, can't see the rest of it. 6PNV 991. I can't really see that one. 8PXM 137. I can't really see that one either. It's 9:23 p.m. State is flying over 150 East Holt Boulevard. Directed light is remaining, and the people are maintaining a vicarious presence. That's amplification of audible activity, and the plane is stalking directly. Direct evidence against 4LTU 090, 8XVP206, 6XMC443, 4JVR018, 6YGD940, 8SMS616. All right, this is vicarious actors that I'm documenting. The same entity. They are one, while the state makes a U-turn in an airplane over the health center. The state is stalking directly and vicariously. That's what I'm documenting. All right? Directed light all over the place. All over. All over, like I've already shown, all right? So you just take down names. 8RFE453. Just write them on down. License plate 7VCA979, 8MIB4, 8MIB427, 73934V1. Okay, so while they're driving, let me give you an example, and this is what I mean by prosecuting. 5EBB322. While these minions, and that's what they are, these are demonic actors. This light activity isn't present for naught. The state isn't stalking over me, again, ongoing, for naught, okay? It is directly linked to what they are doing, which is stalking together. License 7DVZ914. My shadow is appearing across the storefront of T-Mobile while these demon-possessed stalkers are driving what is west on Holt Boulevard. Your headlights are not even aiming in this direction. You're not turning north onto Euclid from Holt, okay? They're turning right here. They're driving right past me, and that's what that light activity is occurring as I am walking and getting the license plates. That is the ongoing directed light. That is a direct indication of the state's presence. The state is acting vicariously through all of them. This is entirely demonic, and they're just systematically monitoring, and there are no way escaping a prosecution. This is how you actually slay an entire people together. 7ZBA107. 8TTB002, 6GQL312. This is how you slay by the masses, okay? Because they're acting as one giant massive entity. 6MYT138. And it is entirely out of the pit of hell. All right, 8PNJ674, group stalker on foot, monitoring in the directed light, all right, wearing a blue shorts and flip-flops with a shirt on the back of it that says bangers only. 5CUS296, he's walking west on Hope Boulevard in the same exact directed light, okay? All right, to that audible activity in directed light, acting with Omnitrans. Omnitrans is engaged in P.O.C. as well, systematically, but I just want to be clear, they're on traffic cameras. They're engaged in federal stalking, while ginormous, gigantic shadows of moving vehicles are on the brick wall on the side of the Omnitrans, okay? That's impossible light activity. Omnitrans is engaged in terrorism, all right? Omnitrans is engaged in ongoing kidnapping as documented as well. They are sex offenders as well. All right, that's P.O.C. engaging in unlawful threats intended to terrorize in concert with the state, while that bus, that commercial vehicle, which is a means of crossing path under the fake sun and under directed light, while impossible light activity shoots off of that vehicle, representing a threat in concert with that entity, which Omnitrans is not ignorant of. 8PNJ674. Omnitrans monitoring me to this audible activity and under this directed light. License plate 5EXG216. License plate 8BOL752. 7VSE262. All right, and again, how was Omnitrans engaged in kidnapping? Did they physically snatch my body up? No, that was those demon-possessed stalkers of the Ontario Police Department and that demon-possessed actor, Lisa Rogan of the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. Omnitrans engaged in monitoring me as I was subject to that unlawful confinement, which is a kidnapping, while the state has been engaged in federal stalking. You monitor with the state that's kidnapping. You monitor with the state that is engaged in sexual violence. You monitor with the state that's engaged in terrorism, which is the P.O.C., and you are the same entity. That's what Omnitrans engages in. Deviating from its route and time schedules in order to do so and to harass. License plate of Omnitrans, 1545945. That's audible activity that Omnitrans is monitoring me to, and while this demon-possessed stalker behind me is aiming their headlights on me, I'm going to document that. All right, this is molestation by a sex offender. License plate, 35613L1. Zolos Birieria, Estilo Tijuana. They're monitoring. It is 9:28 p.m. and my shadow is on both sides of me as I'm reading this license plate of that group stalker that's sitting in their truck in relevant position. All right, that is the ongoing connection of what the people of the state of California are going. It is in no way separate. That doesn't even make any sense to try to separate this ongoing unnatural environment. Oh, but I have no, I don't think so. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, you're under a fake sun, and that is a fake sun, and you think you're going to escape prosecution? You have another thing coming. All right, this is speaking to and educating how you can literally prosecute the government that thinks that it can employ this sort of terrorism amongst an American citizen. My shadow across the wall, across the street, license plate 5AAB200. My shadow appearing across the street on the building, 8UHK661, 8HYP203. All of them engaged in terrorism and sexual violence, molestation. 7NIB882. And this is the FedEx is monitoring. FedEx is engaged in P.O.C. This is the idiot that I'm documenting, okay? Because while more and more, and you're talking about how many third parties, I mean, over years, thousands of third parties I've documented, thousands of them. Not even counting the third parties that I formerly worked with, okay? That's a matter of documentation. The state was monitoring me. They're engaging in that too. I've already documented them. I already know their names, okay? 8MZT142. DINO-RTZ, 8SLW-636. The state has not paused, has not stopped. The state got more aggressive as I became aware of it, and now I am affirmatively documenting what are absolute strangers engaging in this demonic conduct. everything that I'm subject to, all of them, every single last one of them are one entity, and they're all catching those federal charges together, and they are plenty. Okay, the state is engaging in an ongoing criminal act, an unprecedented one, and every single, itemization of every form of violation, they're going to be prosecuted for. So this idiot having my shadow appear across the street, across the check cash MoneyGram, guess who's going to be prosecuted for that? 7 TAB 831. All right, and Ashley Davidson, they used to work at Mobility in Orange County. All right, 8 GIV 674. She's a psychopath. She's a demon-possessed stalker. 8 FTC 056, and she engaged in criminal facilitation of that harassment while that doofus face group stalker, and she is a doofus face. Okay, I have no respect for a criminal like herself, and she engaged in violent form of harassment while she was engaged in federal stalking at Mobility in Orange County. All right, which is a matter of documentation 7RMC 768. She is a part of this documentation. All right. And that was in 2017. The state is engaged in ongoing monitoring. There is no separation. I am dragging every single last one of those third parties that have been monitoring me for years. It's the same entity. Okay? She is a sex offender. She's engaged in terrorism. She's engaged in kidnapping. She's catching all those federal charges. It's the same entity. 46528K2, 5PLJ277. This is the reality, and that's the pitfall. Just like any other conspiracy, when you're engaging in crimes, you're holding hands with each other, engaging in that criminal act together, you're catching all of those charges together. This is what happens when a government engages in it. It's unprecedented. It is epic. All right? It is of magnitude. It's a humongous proportion. And that's what they're getting. All right? And that's the idiot that I'm documenting, because it's going down. It is going down. And I'm going to show you how you do it. So any other ordinary target individual can enforce their rights. You don't have to be an attorney. You don't have to be legally trained. The process is such that you will not be obstructed in any way. Anybody that gets in your way to try to do it, they're going to be prosecuted as well. BRKW332, BWWF521. And this is what I mean by embarrassing itself. The entity is embarrassing itself, and it's dragging itself. BPL3844. We can count in hundreds of videos and in my written documentation how many times the state is engaged in terrorism, stalking with a helicopter. Guess who I'm going to prosecute for that? Ashley Davidson. I'm going to prosecute her for that. Ashley Davidson. She's getting a standout because I was going over my documentation of harassment while I was at Mobility, while those employees were engaging in federal stalking unbeknownst to me. Harassment is essentially element number 4. License 9426003, that's D, it's towing. All right, that demon-possessed stalker, I've already documented that commercial actor, 8EHD 067. 8MPZ 973. And you can take a look at my website. I've already documented Mobility, including the CEO that was at that office in Orange County and Costa Mesa, California, present monitoring, okay? They were all monitoring, and it's demonic activity. It is not limited to the city of Ontario or the Ontario Police Department, who indeed are demon-possessed stalkers in police uniforms. This is all the way in Orange County. It's in Los Angeles. It's everywhere that I have been where I did not even know that I was subject to the system. And now that I'm aware of it, not only am I advising, all right, I am exposing, and I'm going to prosecute. I'm going to prosecute. I'm going to crush. I'm going to crush them. License plate. 7EDL364, 8DFS524, 7SLR618. All right, you're talking about demons that are, the only difference is the zip code. That's it. There is no difference. There is no difference. Demon possession has nothing to do with your age, has nothing to do with your economic status, has nothing to do with your title, has nothing to do with your race. All right? Has nothing to do with whether you want to claim that you're a Christian or not. You know that by their deeds. This is satanic. So a Christian can claim they believe in God all day long. 74212D2. Guess what? The elements control. The elements control when you're prosecuting monitoring. 8RDK867. All right? And I documented plenty claiming to be of God, of the Lord, right? While they're under the fake sun, engaging in federal stalking, engaging in terrorism. That's what they were doing. All right? Engaging in that hallmark of harassment in the name of Jesus. That's what I've documented. Okay? It is currently 9:35 p.m. License plate 8RKH654. My shadow appearing across the street, 6CAA553. 7KWF553. That's amplified audible activity. While my shadow is appearing, feet in front of me onto surfaces in front of me. License 72739C3. 5EQZ062. 7HCN884. It's 9:35 p.m. All of them touching. License plate 8HMT421. 8LJF462. 6TPY838. And guess what? While the targeted individual is out, for example, like I am, documenting third-party group stalkers who are engaging in terrorism, who are sex offenders, and who are stalkers, and because you are driving with your headlights on, you do not have any excuse from engaging in sexual violence of touching with an instrument of criminal activity. Because you are engaging in that system, you are still touching, and there is no exception from that. You have no business monitoring with the state in the first place. You are still touching regardless of whether I'm standing out here and documenting you or not. I just want to be clear. You don't have any form, right? The presence of this system is the crime. You don't have any excuse. 5G UK 932, and all of them are touching. 318-08U1. 8UGN123, all right? And they are touching with a criminal instrument, all right? You're talking about ongoing monitoring conduct. This isn't your ordinary presence, all right? This is stalking, and this is demonic, all right? This is Satan that has an issue with this light. This is what I've shown you with the fake sun and with its directed light. They have an issue with that, all right? You don't have any form. I'm going to document you, and then I'm also going to prosecute you for touching while you're doing this stalking conduct, engaging in terrorism, all right? License plate 8XTZ660, gigantic shadows across the brick wall across the street, 8VKD309, that's called magnified light. And I've shown you this video after video, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is demonic, and they're all monitoring. 8VKD309. And these psychopaths are all monitoring and listening to every word that I'm saying while they're maintaining presence as a group in traffic. That's what's wrong with every single last one of them. 7LRX107. All right, these are truly sick individuals, truly sick. That's what a psychopath is, all right? And what's wrong about this one, they did not estimate it correctly, because they're going to answer for this. They're not getting away with it. These are psychopaths that thought that they were going to get away with it, and that's not what's happening. I'm going to prosecute. By the masses, prosecuting. Everyone's going to know what a group stalker is. I'm going to make an example out of what group stalking is, and understand that no one will want to, after that, be associated with that. You're not going to want to do that. And that is necessary. That's absolutely necessary. So while these demons have a field day right now, understand, in federal court, they will be in tears, and there will be no exception. There will be none. There will be none. There will be absolutely none. And by the way, that's how Satan conducts himself. It's literally a fatalist. It's like it's out for self-destruction. Goes until the very, very end and does not think about the result. 7ZYN567, that is Satan. 8GTM121, 4LLV355, 7DDP939, 8TWF312, 4CDE469, 7EOV203. All right, everything that you're hearing around you, every time I hear Amtrak sounding this train, every time I'm hearing plane engines and helicopters over my head, every time I'm hearing these minions out here, that the state is amplifying the sound of engines and what you're hearing, motorcycles, all of that is a threat. You prosecute for all of that. That ongoing trauma that Satan, acting via the people and the state of California, that's going to translate to terrorism, okay, is inflicting while they want to engage in monitoring. Oh yeah, we need laws to address that. We need laws to address that. Federal stalking, 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2, addresses federal stalking, but it does not go far enough. It does not go far enough. You need to understand, and that's what I have shown, is how the government engages. There's a whole comprehensive corrupt system at work, all right, from beginning to end, including the people of the state, all right? While you've got police officers hiding around in parking lots and parking garages on back-end streets, monitoring with the people of the state, all right? That's P.O.C. Engaging in criminal activity with the people of the state, putting them in the position of the government while they're engaging in this corruption together. That's absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable, and many need to pay the price, a very dear price for that, a very dear price. All right, license plate 5FRH359. All right, that same license plate that I documented sitting in front of me while I was standing at T-Mobile, that group stalker is still sitting, has been loitering. All right, that demon-possessed stalker moves in real time. That's what's here. Moves in real time as I speak about it. That demon knows exactly what I'm talking about as I'm talking about it, as do the rest of them, including the Ontario police that began pacing up and down Euclid Avenue as I started documenting third parties. And then as I speak their name, more and more of those demons in those Ontario Police Department vehicles coming from behind where I can see them coming out into sight, okay? Because they're stalking around back streets in relevant position right now. All right, that's what the demonic entity is engaging in at all times. 42175K1. 0375, I can't see the rest of that one. 7YHG679, excuse me. 37974W1. 8TDP884. It is 9:41 p.m. That's called audible activity. And all of their moving vehicles is called light activity. And they are engaging in that ongoing activity creation in directed light. And they are doing so in concert with the state that is stalking by police, fire, ambulance, plane, and helicopter. All right? License. ULK564. 11525A3. 8MKX940. 8MKX940, yeah. What I document again today with regard to third-party group stalker Tracy Banks, that is speaking to not only a psychopath, but a very potent threat against the targeted individual, and that is speaking to the harm that she actually intends, contrary to what she wants to convey by giving me $20, by taking me to get something to eat while she's monitoring with the Ontario police, while she's engaged in repeated acts of criminal summoning, while she is literally running away while she's at the mall so that absolute strangers can engage in this terrorizing monitoring conduct while I'm at Montclair Place, okay? And then the moment that I pull out my phone, all right, to start documenting, that's not a coincidence. She immediately calls. She knows exactly what I'm doing as I'm doing it. She's a stalker just like the rest of them, okay? And that is what I'm subject to, and she engages in this routinely and has been for years. All right, that's a very violent sex offender, all right, including Eric Corey Spencer, all right? That is a third party whose name that I happen to know, okay, engaged in what is demonic conduct of one who is related to the target individual, myself, all right? And those are they are at the foremost of what is a federal prosecution. You're not avoiding prosecution at all. I know their names, and they have been engaged in facilitation of a government and the people's ability to monitor, sexually violate, unbeknownst to me. That is demon possession. 7VZC731. That is the psychopath, okay? That's the psychopath. Treating me and actually dealing with me as their enemy while in my face smiling and acting like I'm a family member that they love, having no reason to hate me whatsoever. This is satanic. Understand that, okay? License plate 7FKH366, 5MHP392, 8DCM611, 7DJE692, 7ZPN998, 8CDJ390, 8RDX965. And that just speaks to the punishment that is required as a matter of justice for third-party insiders such as Eric Corey Spencer, such as Tracy Lemire Banks. 8RMH381, posing a direct threat to the life of the target individual, engaged in ongoing acts of criminal obstruction of justice in concert with the police department upon my becoming aware of it and documenting it. 7CKL967, that is pure evil, okay? Pure evil. Just like I'm documenting amongst third-party group stalkers whose name I don't even know, all right? Acting in concert with that. To my detriment, all right? That's demonic, Understand, that's the core of this system. That is the core of it. It is 9:45 p.m. This is called audible activity. All right, license plate 7ACB437. All right, I just captured video so you can see as I am standing at the intersection of Hull and Euclid, and this brick wall that I continue to reference, it is literally about 30 feet away from me, 35 feet away from me. It's far away from me, okay? And my shadow is being projected onto that wall, far away from me. And that is speaking to exactly everyone in relevant position that I'm documenting right now, okay? Including those demons in Ontario police vehicles. License 6GYN674. All right, that's entirely demonic. That's an ongoing demonic feature with the state's ongoing use of this light. All right, it's absolutely demonic. 8BUJ768, 8SXN265. All of them monitoring. That impossible light activity is speaking to what they are actually engaging in. Demons that are being revealed in their form, which are Satan, they're satanic actors, excuse me. These are demon-possessed stalkers. That's why this environment exists. That is why. They are engaging in criminal activity, and I'm letting you know by the way that they are engaging in this criminal activity, it's letting you know about them, that which you can't see. But you see it through the environment, and you see it through their conduct that they engage in together collectively. It's absolutely demonic, all right? All right, so while they're swiping, touching with light, this is Satan that has an issue with touching. Satan does not respect your personal rights whatsoever or your constitutional rights, all right? Does not care about that whatsoever. He's going to care, though. 8DUE831 is going to care, all right? And let me be clear, while they're touching all over me, it's no different because they're sitting at the red light and they are the ones that touch me. They're one entity. 5NWF997, 6ACZ668. All of them molesting me together. They're one entity. They're sex offenders. All right, you don't have a right to touch with the government that's monitoring. You don't have a right to threaten. You don't have a right to speak because you're monitoring with the state. And this is the criminalization of everything that they do for that criminal purpose. And you're breaking all that down. You ain't in your home. You're in a third-party facilitating venue. All right, you're in directed light. You're facilitating the government. The government's going to be prosecuted on its own. You're going to be prosecuted as well. 6ZNS881. They don't have a right to do any of that. Any of it. None of it. 5TPV266. And that's why that environment exists. And it is letting you know what is satanic and what is wrong with a people. All right? A people. And this is terrorism practiced in the United States. This is how the United States engages in terrorism. All right? That's a helicopter. So who's engaging in terrorism with the state? Flying over me by helicopter is 64433D3. 7HCY519. 7NQR365. Their presence is the mere communication in directed light engaging in terrorism with the state that's flying over and stalking me in a helicopter, okay? It's 7YVY730. They don't have a right to do that. They don't have a right at all. You prosecute them for it. This is the prosecution of the people, 8NNB989, in taking their part in the state's criminal system. You prosecute the hell out of them for that. You don't have a right to do that. You want to threaten with the state? You're going to be prosecuted with the state. You're going to be prosecuted. Losing your children? You're certainly going to lose your title. 1006 6B3, the Ontario Police Department, they're losing those positions. They have no business in law enforcement. They belong in straitjackets. They have no business in law enforcement. You're literally talking about Satan wearing police uniforms. Those are very dangerous psychopaths, okay? License 8RK8654, those officers of the court engaging in demonic conduct. Wearing those robes, sitting on the bench, engaging in criminal activity, they have no business in those positions. Those attorneys, they have no business in those positions. And I'm letting you know what they don't want you to know is that they are demon-possessed criminals. They're not just criminals, they're demon-possessed, all right? And that's the reality. And you know that based on their conduct that they engaged in. Criminal facilitation of federal stalking. 8F, I'm sorry, I can't really see that one. License plate, let me get this one. All of them touching together, acting with the state that's flying over the street in helicopter. License 7GJN 779. License 24506F3. All right, just directed light just all over the brick wall. You can see the street lamp from the opposite side of Euclid Avenue is appearing on the brick wall, okay? The street lamps, what sort of angle of light such that those street lights are appearing on the brick wall? That's directed light. That's the state that is providing this ongoing environment while these demons are maintaining presence, which is patrolling. This isn't driving by, this is patrolling in directed light. That's what it is. That's how that translates where the government is monitoring. You're no longer just driving in traffic. You're no longer just working at the store. You're no longer just in your house across the street from the target individual. You're in a venue where this criminal pattern of conduct is underway. That's why those traffic signals those shadows are appearing on the wall. That's why my shadow is magnified 35 feet away from me on this brick wall, all right? That's why. It's a ongoing environment maintained. This is the fishbowl. And who is monitoring with the state in that fishbowl? 7XMT036. And that's direct evidence of that. 7BMU535. License plate. Sex offender. 8SXX238. 8RQS549. Sex offender. Very violent sex offenders engaging in terrorism. This is how the United States engages in terrorism. All right, so this is an eye-opener. They are not any different than these countries that the United States claims to be better than, superior to. No, the United States of America engages in terrorizing American citizens. This is how they do it. It's demonic. It's absolutely twisted and demented. And it is amongst the people. It's not just a couple of folks and other people don't know about it and that's not how that works. It's not how it works. That's not why the environment is present. And that is not why they are engaging in an identical behavioral pattern, which I've been documenting for years. And I literally engaged in traveling to different places I had never been to test it. Okay? And it literally, this is a people engaging in terrorism. This is how the United States engages in terrorizing American citizens. 7XWT856. That's not a coincidence when you go to a new area and that same pattern of conduct is underway. That's not even if you, I mean, you don't even have to go to a different city. The fact that you've got people that are strangers in no way connected engaging in conduct that is identical, that right there, okay? All right, so let me document who's touching. All right, because headlights across the street are not going to be blinding. That's the state's directed light. And that's the sex offender that just loves to be identified. 7XWT866 is a sex offender, okay? And they're going to be prosecuted as such. I hope they don't have any kids. License plate, 7RRL381. License plate. They love to touch. 8VWS243, right? Yeah, 243. This is license 7VOL383, 8VWD331, 5SCT981, 8SHN312. This is a gigantic orgy that I did not ask to be a part of. And this one over here, monitoring with minor children, engaging in that sexual violence with minor children, license 6DLC510. You're not distinct and you're not separate. They're sex offenders acting together, ELCUQUY. And they're going to learn the error of their ways. You don't get to touch, you don't get to stalk, you don't get to do none of that, and you're going to pay for it dearly. That's what's wrong with them. Satan has to be put in his place. All right, and they have issues. Satan has issues with touching, has issues with boundaries. An obsessive stalker. You're seeing that with the fake son. That is the stalker personified. That's exactly what's wrong with every single last one of them. Understand that they are engaged in the same obsessive stalking, the need to maintain presence, the need to maintain activity because they're engaging in this demonic group activity together. That's what's wrong with every single last one of them. The environment is telling you about them, and it is telling you what they're doing. 6CAA 553. The environment is also telling you what is necessary, and that is federal prosecution, speaking to what is terrorism and sexual violence by a government. All right? This is to be appreciated under federal policy. The state is a sex offender. Okay? The people of the state of California represent the state. The state is a sex offender. All right? It doesn't get any more violent than that. All right? The state is a kidnapper. The state is a stalker. All right? And this is documented. This is documented, objective. This is fact. This is established. This is the pattern of conduct. And these are concepts under that have never been contemplated under federal policy. And it's a reality. It is a reality. This is how a government engages in terrorism. The state of California is a sex offender. And just like any other sex offender, you make sure that it is well-known news, and you make sure that they answer under the law. Okay? And that's what's going to happen. That's what's in the making. That's what this is the preparation for. And it is inevitable. License plate 5GTK 516 8CLF 093 8JG 5604, I believe. 7FEW 916. Monitoring at Metro 102 Apartments, headlights, driving around in that parking lot and blinding headlights all the way over here, over 50 feet away from me. That's a group stalker. So who's over there touching me? Right here, I can get B276UO touching me while that audible activity that third party is creating, all right? 7LDB 969. That's audible activity while undirected light. That's P.O.C, all right? And Metro 102, third party facilitating venue engaging in P.O.C. It's 9:57 p.m. And on the traffic cameras, I just want to be clear where I'm at. This is documentation on traffic cameras, criminal activity. I'm right here at the intersection. This is federal stalking. This is terrorism. All right? License plate 5LUV 119 8RYZ 567. All right, this is a demon-possessed stalker. License 8CRN 569 5PFW 679 6RCB. I can't really see the rest of that. They're proceeding north on Euclid Avenue. It's 9:58 p.m. Metro 102 Apartments, sounding an ongoing car horn. That's called audible activity and directed light, okay? All kinds of motion and objects moving across this brick wall, all right, including my shadow. That's called audible activity in directed light while they are patrolling in traffic. And the state is patrolling in the sky. License 6PAJ422. And they're also patrolling on the sidewalk. Group stalkers that are walking in the crosswalk, walking on the sidewalk, they're group stalking. All right? They just don't have a license plate on them. License. It's 9:59 p.m. This is a paper plate, BR83F01. BR83F01, yeah. License 7P06073, 6FMU938, 7KXG719, which I believe I already documented. All right, and impossible light, gigantic size shadows all over the place as I'm walking to get these license plates. All right? An entirely demonic environment. These are psychopaths. 7JJN030. An entirely demented environment. That's the state that's stalking while I'm in the vehicle at 630 North Fern, right over here at the intersection of Holt and Euclid. Okay? That's how you know what this overweight stalker is doing. A demon-possessed, engaging in sexual violence and terrorism, 7JJN030, while the state's flying over me in a helicopter. All right? Directly tied to what that third party is doing. That's audible activity in directed light. Group stalker at Metro 102 apartment parking lot, just driving in circles like the psychopath that it is. Just like the state does flying in a circle, it's demon possession. That's a psychopath just going berserk, going round and round and around and around and around. That's demon possession. That's demon possession. That is a severe weirdo and a stalker. License plate 8HJB335, 8UJT302. 7UBF415, all of them stalking and monitoring, terrorizing with the state that's flying over by helicopter. 7CVV 235. Okay, so you have what is, let me get these. 8EBN568. 8407 721 7Z1, excuse me, 6LYX 923. 8VRL262, molesting me in concert with the group stalker, and the state that is molesting with directed light, because it's not headlights from the opposite end of this gigantic street. It's over 50 feet away, all right? And I'm being blinded and molested with directed light. That's not their headlights, and it's also not even farther behind me on that brick wall. They're acting with the state. All right, you want to be a sex offender, you're going to pay the price for that, but okay. License plate, while I got 3 shadows walking up toward this car. All right, license 60757C3, 8DVJ010. My shadow appearing while I am feet away from that vehicle. It's appearing upright on that license plate, moving as I walk toward that vehicle. All right, I'm not even near it, and my shadow should be on the ground. It's not. It's upright on that license plate when I'm not even close enough for that to happen. Okay, that's P.O.C. That's demonic activity. These are psychopaths that I'm revealing. I'm making them known, okay? And I'm also going to prosecute, but I'm making them known for the demon-possessed actors that they are. This is something that needs to be known, and this is why it happened to me, because I am the one with the ability to let you know what is actually going on beyond federal stalking. This is demon possession. And there need to be identified demons named. Demons identified by name. 8BFX302, 6KZM814, 7MY0458, demons, okay? License 6ROE524. That is B58. I can't really see that one. All right, demons. Psychopaths, in other words, engaging in terrorism. And all that is encompassed in that conduct when you prosecute for it, okay? There's a lot that's in that. That's a lot. That's rich for prosecution. State flying over in helicopter. License 8RMH381, 8XO1242. Flying right over me, and this is repeating. This is patrolling by helicopter. 5ZBR663, 8PEF039, 7JBP222, 7VFA529. Terrorism with the state, monitoring with the helicopter. 8TGT651. All of them are part of that. All of them. Okay. All of them that I named, but I mean the entirety of the entity. So I'm speaking. While the state stalks with the helicopter over my head, you get the third party that's right in your face. You get them right. That are right there in your face, monitoring with that demon-possessed stalker flying over your head in a helicopter. All right, because they are one. They're one entity. Let's get some more sex offenders. Sex offenders engaging in terrorism, license 5 ESZ722, 7PEJ793. Yeah. 8 PAU 691. 8 VDM 949. BR01J98. 8 ETY 532. And that, the one prior to the last one I just read, this BR01J98, that's a paper plate. That's audible activity in directed light. Demons, okay? License plate. 4PD, okay, let me get this one. 7TBJ086. This is 4AP0451. 4823, hold on. 4883282. 7SVY497. 8LIU664. 8WHP736. 5HKZ600. 8PHL297. It is 10:06 p.m. All right, ongoing dynamic directed light moving across this brick wall. It's light that is not stationary. It's light that is moving, okay? Moving across. The shadows are moving across, all right? While they are, they being the people, are right here on the ground while the state is aiming this light onto the surfaces and all around. Not just that brick wall, but the brick wall is a gigantic scene of directed light. But the state is aiming directed light all over the place, okay? And also following with it as I move. And they are engaging in stalking with activity, which the state is applying a microphone to. And the state also engages in, based on their presence, just creating ongoing artificial activity that they're not even creating. It's called concerted conduct, and it's demonic. All right, and this also psychopaths act together. 8XBK107. And so let me tell you about that criminal contract. It's essentially the government is basically like, okay, I just need you to be present, and I'm going to make the noise. I just need you to be there because it's supposed to be assumed that the noise is coming from you. So just be there, and that's going to be the face for the noise. That's what's happening. That like you're making the noise. That's what the people are doing. They are the mask that the state wears, but it's not even a mask. I've literally removed that. 7L2. I can't really see that one. It's not even, there is no guise, first of all. You are looking at the elements. You are looking at an environment that is raw. I've exposed what the state is doing everywhere that I go, and it is speaking directly to what the people are doing. And what the state is doing is already clear. The state is the stalker. That was the first aspect of the system that I thoroughly expounded upon and demonstrated in documentation. 1545797 Omnitrans. All right, Ontario Police, group stalker, demon possessed. All right, 1576660. That's a male and a passenger in the vehicle, vehicle number 1002. All right, waving hi, not because we're friends or because they know me, they know that I'm documenting them. And that is in the same ongoing environment, okay? That is literally just crossing path visually because they are maintaining presence in the path. That's what demons are doing. They're engaged in ongoing obsessive stalking conduct. And now it's just been put out in the open by myself. All right, demonstrating what the people are doing as a group, which is demonic. The fact that they're doing it as a group, stalking with a whole bunch of other people, that's demonic. Demons act in a pack, okay? What the state does with light, the stalking with light, this ongoing theme with light, it's demonic, okay? And you have what is that ongoing maintenance of audible activity, how the state, the unheard of conduct of literally stalking with noise, following someone as they make or do anything and you create noise, that's demonic. That's a psychopath. That's a weirdo. That's monitoring conduct. That is demonic though, okay? It's currently 10:09 p.m. All right, I got a video of what is directed light, and I want to get this license plate. That's a threat, all right? And that is the sex offender. License BS53U98. License 6GAL555, acting with them. They're one entity together. They're not separate. That's what you need to understand. License plate 8AHH675. Here goes, Ontario Police. That's audible activity. Okay, license plate 1591585. While I'm documenting third parties, that's exactly what they did this morning under the fake sun. And now they are in directed light, using that as the means to create audible activity, vehicle number 1036, license 1591585, okay? Understand, in the same way that they have no reasonable suspicion or probable cause, knowing exactly that I'm in the street, knowing that I'm documenting a third party, that's what that is. That's the stalker, wearing a police uniform. That's demon possession. And that directed light that you saw in the video, that's what I was pointing out, and that's exactly what the Ontario police did. Understand, it's not a coincidence that the Ontario police arrived as I'm pointing out the criminal activity and the exposure of what that officer revealed himself. He's revealing that he is demon possessed as you are looking at the activity that I am speaking to as they engage in it. That is the demonstration of demon possession. I'm just letting you know that you don't know what you're looking at. You don't know what you're looking at and what it means, and I'm telling you what it means. And that's exactly what the Ontario police officer did this morning. All right, and you saw that light streaming off that vehicle. That's not from headlights. It's directed light, and it's demonic. And that is an ongoing theme. That's what the group does everywhere. All right, it's 10:11 p.m., and that is P.O.C. All right, license plate. In a blazer, engaging in satanic conduct. CPK 2341, Arizona. Monitoring with a minor child, a sex offender, license 7SLS 744, 7UDR 151. License 8HKN 721, 7YJA 353. License 6LDR 259, license 3XZB569, 7KRN 366. That's audible activity and directed light. And the state is pacing back and forth in a helicopter. The state is pacing in a helicopter. And let me be clear, this traffic, understand this is an entity. When you look at the forest from the trees, you're looking at the big picture. All right? Understand this is the entity that is pacing all around me in vehicles. That's what they're doing. They're maintaining presence. It's demonic activity that they're engaging in, and they're engaging in a pacing all around me in vehicles, maintaining all the elements of monitoring. And the state is pacing in a helicopter right now, flying back and forth. As I captured it, for example, you saw this on video on May 5th, I believe, the night of May 5th, 2021. All right, where I stood at the intersection and I was documenting, and the state was engaging in stalking and showing that it cannot hide the fact that it's demon possessed. It literally can't hide it, especially as I speak to it. They engage in more of that conduct that is telling you, it reveals what is demon possession. And that is going to be prosecuted. That goes down on the books as what is terrorism. This is how the government, which is plagued with demon possession, okay, well, you could be engaging in what is being prosecuted as a terrorist. Because that conduct, you don't get to engage in trying to traumatize and frighten an American citizen because you want to monitor them and because you want to try to freak them out. And this is being freaked out at a level that you cannot even fathom. You can't quantify it. All right. And this is what the entity is doing. And there's supposed to be no resolution to it. 5NKT321 78XD 411. That's terrorism by a government that is stalking you. Okay, and stalking you in unheard of manners, stalking you with light and stalking you with noise. That's demonic. It is terrorism. Okay, that's what I just documented right now. Let me get these demon-possessed actors stalking at the traffic light. License plate 8FGS 671, 7XEJ 384, paper BR 73H38. And license HLG 9298. That's an Ohio plate. Molesting with light. Let me get this sex offender. Let me get this one. License plate 48449T2. And monitoring with that sex offender. Okay, they're all in directed light. 3TTY265. They're all in directed light, but they also are touching. And you're stalking, and no ordinary stalker is going to touch, and certainly no government that is stalking is going to touch in any way, especially not with their criminal conduct, that which they are using as their criminal instrument, which is light, and including the state's engineered light. All right, that creepy light that's creating multiple shadows, that creepy light that is creating reflections in unnatural ways. That's no ordinary, that's not light, that's not sunlight. That's the state's engineered light, what the state molests with 24 hours a day. Light that you can't see when you're supposedly in the shade, but yet you know that you're not. You're being molested because you still see your shadow in the shade. That's the state's engineered light. That's Amtrak engaging in terrorism. It's 10:15 p.m. All right, let me get these group stalkers monitoring with Amtrak. 8DSW 617, 5FEY 142, 8SWU 927. They're monitoring with Amtrak. They're engaging in terrorism with Amtrak. 6WFM 349. And understand, this is the pattern of conduct all night long while the state uses the train tracks of Amtrak to pace back and forth to create amplified audible activity. And those documented actors, this is exactly what they're doing. They're maintaining presence in directed light using Amtrak, which is a terrorist. And they're engaging in that conduct together. I just happen to be out here to get them by name, to identify these sex offenders and these terrorists, okay? License plate. 8WT X449. 8PUY 423. Yeah. License 8DIS. Get the rest of that. 049. All of them monitoring with Amtrak, okay? Amtrak engaging in criminal facilitation of what is terrorism. Amtrak is a sex offender and criminal facilitation of sexual violence. 8WR7949. Impossible light across that license plate while I'm not even in front of it as I read it, all right? As I focus my sight on it, that's a Washington plate. That's terrorism by that third party. Again, BWR7949. Demon-possessed stalker. That's a demon, okay? I can't really see that one. License plate. Let me name this demon for you. License 7LKXW, 276. It is 10:17 p.m. Do you understand that it is the same for Amtrak? You're talking about identifying an actor, a state actor, Amtrak is a state actor, by a brand name, okay? But understand it's the same demon possession. Using that method, using a company name, using a state identifier, using a means of identity, which is a brand name, Amtrak, company name. Let me get this group stalker over here. Pacing in a vehicle, license 7WYZ 806. License, touching more with light. Let me get this. 8TDB 581. License 7HT829. License P662GO. All right. They're engaging in group stalking. Third parties engage in maintenance of presence. You're intentionally present to stalk, in other words. You have no form. The ongoing environment and the stalking by the state is speaking to what third parties are engaging in, which is terrorism, as these are demons that are engaging in this conduct. 7 PSU 436, and she turns up he or she turns on their brights as though they are engaging in some sort of summoning of me to get out the way, and you're present to monitor and to stalk. And they're acting in concert with the Ontario police, who are in relevant position on Euclid Avenue right now, using their lights as light activity. That's stalking with light by the Ontario police. Demons 5511682, monitoring with the Ontario police and touching with the Ontario police. 8TAK 600. And understand, Ontario police monitoring with the Amtrak, okay? They're stalking with light while Amtrak is being used as a means of audible activity. 8WIL 675. License 6GQN 481. License 23469W7. That's a paper plate. All right. Group stalker coming off the grounds of 150 East Holt Boulevard on a bicycle, monitoring with the police. 7KFF 895. It's 10:19 p.m. That's amplification of audible activity while Ontario police are stalking with light in the path. All right, P.O.C, license plate 8S02 825, monitoring with the Ontario Police Department. License plate 7JOZ 499, monitoring with the Ontario Police. 8HVM, monitoring with a minor child, and 8HVM 005, monitoring with the police. U904HW, that's an out-of-state plate, monitoring with the police, monitoring with Ontario Police. License plate 8RU8336, monitoring with the Ontario Police. License plate, that's a paper plate and I can't see it. It is 10:20 p.m. JVZ2713, that's a Texas plate, 8VOD998, I believe, substantially similar. And understand what I just captured on video. Let me be clear. I captured on video what is Ontario police engaging in stalking, relevant positioning. Stalking, I'm in directed light. The state is stalking by police. That's the state acting directly, using their vehicles as a means of light activity creation, while the people are maintaining presence and also creating light activity as the group as one, 8SWS298, is patrolling back and forth in traffic, which is what I'm documenting, and Ontario police is stalking in the path using their vehicles as light activity, okay? That is group stalking conduct, and it's criminal facilitation of group stalking. This is federal stalking under 18 U.S.C. activity, and I'm documenting those who are monitoring with the police as they cross path, 8TQM378. And this is, again, like I'm stating, I'm letting you know what federal stalking looks like, how an entity engages in it together. And certainly the Ontario Police Department are literally, they have zero form. And let me be clear, there is no form. But when I say you have zero form, meaning I have documented you so heavily, you can't even act as though you can engage in presence with a straight face. But this is what psychopaths do. But I'm letting you know what is that demon possession that you're witnessing, okay? But I've documented them so they don't even have any form. They can't even act like. They can't. They do, all right? But that's a psychopath. 8CKK637. I have heavily documented them, all right? Heavily documented the Ontario Police Department that are clearly engaging what is criminal facilitation. That's what I captured on video. It is 10:22 p.m. Ontario Police stalking in the path on Euclid Avenue. All right, as I am at the museum and they are maintaining presence, they're stalking right now. And there is nothing that the police department acting as a state, federal stalking is underway that is superseding that criminal conduct that the state is engaging in. They don't have any form and it doesn't supersede the pattern of conduct by the state that is underway and established. It is 10:22 p.m. That is P.O.C.